Cold turkey sandwich. I almost scored a bunch of bets on Miami, but some fucking asshole swung in.
That sucks. The stream's live now, right when you said that.
Oh, I almost scored a bunch of bets on Miami. But I was gonna take a bunch of bets because everyone loves the Lakers, like too much. And then some guys like, there's a better line online, and in my head I'm like, yeah, no shit, bud. Like, what do you think I'm doing here?
I'm guessing this was a new guy kind of thing, like a guy you've never
No,
seen
it's
before. Or...
the same idiot on I play poker with. He just he always he's just such an he's annoying. Hey Jackson, how you doing?
Hey James. Oh, today was Underdog City, man.
What's my record this week? I don't know. Oh, Mickey Hill, man, we're on the same time period. I'm liking it. Sorry if there's a bit of noise. My girlfriend's uncracking our leftover turkey from my parents' house. It's in a nice, convenient container. This is how my mom operates, babe. I'm sorry. Just call me Mr. 4 and 7. That's okay.
How many underdogs won outright today? Let's take a look.
Miami. Unless something changed in the last, I don't know, few minutes.
Carolina.
Yeah.
Las Vegas. Miami.
That's it.
That's it. And then
Bears on Thursday.
the Bears. So what was that? 1, 2, 3, 4? 4 underdogs, one outright.
Jets are just pathetic. Raiders played great today. That game was exciting.
That game was great.
San Fran's defense was horrible. You got negatives, right?
In fantasy, I'm not too sure. Miami dropped 43 points. They put up the most points out of any team this week.
Yeah, the Dolphins are fun, man. Because you know what the best part about Dolphins is? There's no tomorrow. Like, just whatever. Just go out there and take risks. You know what I mean? Fitzmagic can beat anybody. You know what I'm happy about? I made that little minor prediction. I said Carolina's, obviously it's only 5 games through. I said they're not that bad, and 3-2 isn't that bad. Good for them. I don't know if Ruggs is going to be that big going ahead in Michigan. Like, he had single coverage against Trevarius Ward, and there was no safety help. Like, you don't put a guy who runs a 10-second 100-meter against Trevarius Ward.
The reason why Michigan backhand is saying whoever picked up Ruggs, we got problems, is because it was me.
Oh, it was you?
Yeah.
Did you start him?
No.
Yeah. Ruggs is a good player, though. But how many times are you going to start him, Big Rye? 2, 3 times, maybe 4?
I'm probably going to start him every week.
Really? You're going the whole way? Going the distance?
Well, I'm running back heavy. My receivers right now are Curtis Samuel, Deebo Samuel, Mike Williams, and Russell Gage. So
he's better than all of those guys.
I wasn't sure how much he was going to play. He only finished with 2 catches. It just happened to be 2 huge catches.
Well, Mike, I have a feeling he's going to be a fragile guy, though, Henry Ruggs. That's one thing I'm worried about. I hate fragile receivers. Look at AJ Green today again. You pay all that money for a guy that doesn't lay it out on the field.
Just catching up with Chad Zaps. I didn't make any bets today. And Jacksonville sucks so bad, LOL. Well, this is kind of what was expected of them from the
They
start of the
won in
season.
Chase Claypool. Interesting you bring it up, Marcus. Chase Claypool he grew up about an hour away. My mom's friend is family friends with him. It's I mean, we don't live in a bumpkin area. There's still 4 million people around here. But yeah, he's from a distant suburb of Vancouver. And it's nice. It's nice to have a Canadian that's good. And I doubt he's ever going to have that performance ever again in his career, but who knows?
I can't remember the last time I had somebody had 4 touchdowns in a game off the top of my head.
4 touchdowns? Oh, Jamal Charles. He had more. He had 5 or 6 against the Raiders, and Doug Martin against the Raiders.
But as Chase Claypool as a wide receiver, 4 touchdowns is like unheard of.
One was a rushing one.
Oh, okay.
God, wide receiver, Big Rye, 4 touchdowns.
I can't off the top of my head. I couldn't think of anybody.
Does Moss have a 4 TD game? Lockett had 3 this year.
Jackson said he's on Minnesota plus 7.5. It's right now it's at 6.5. 42% are on the Vikings. 58% are on the Seahawks. To be honest,
it's a no bet game. You need the early line.
Yeah, I don't think there's any value. Let me just take a look at.
You could consider the Seahawks at 6.5. 2007 versus Buffalo, Randy Moss. I'm trying to think of a rookie who got 4 touchdowns. Maybe Gale Sayers.
It's something that doesn't happen very often. Corey said it was that 56-10 game on Sunday night. That Giants game must have broken me, even though I won the bet. And then Mickey, I saw this right away, and you were talking, so I didn't interject. But if that's true, that Teddy's gone 19-2 against the spread as an underdog in his career, that's unreal. That is crazy. That is just crazy. And I was super, super happy to see Alex Smith back playing today. That's
the highlight of the day.
I text Fat Guy right away, like, I'm watching that game. I don't care what else is going on in the league. Like, it wasn't good for him, and that's more because of the offensive line. But still, the play calling in Washington could have been a little bit better. They needed to be conservative with their calls, and it just wasn't conservative enough.
Corey Andy, that's excellent. Very, very, very good.
That's awesome.
That's all of it. Even to have the wherewithal to realize sometimes there's no value. You know, when you miss the line, you miss the boat.
Untouchable said no props tonight either. The juice is wild. Yeah.
Dude, everyone's getting so sharp. You know, no one's buying lottery tickets. I love it.
Dylan said now that the Packers got their bye week and he has Tanya, no one's going to be beating him.
I don't, Dylan, Robert Tonyan busting it up. I don't think so.
Corey, what do you mean by Dan Quinn is out a few weeks and honestly years?
Oh, I think he means he'll be fired in a couple weeks and then he won't be back as a head coach for a few years. I don't know if he'll be back, period, man. Like, he's going to have to, honestly, he might have got the death sentence after this. It was too acrimonious, like his tenure.
I hate this stuff. It says there's a bunch of stories saying that he's expected to be fired. It's either he isn't or he is. I don't know what this expected. Like, we can all guess if he's going to be fired, but we've been saying this for weeks. Corey said he went big yesterday morning on F1, but made good picks in NASCAR. The guy had won 3 straight road courses and got him at plus 320. Nice. Untouchable's asking if anybody wants Drake. So, which league are you in, Untouchable? The Boston Bastards League or the? I always forget the name of the leagues. Or the Chase and Daniels. I was disappointed that the Dylan's Daddies League never came to fruition.
I'm on a turkey sandwich break. Sorry, guys.
Roland Walton is back in chat, and he wants Drake. Star of the week. Hello, Jackson.
Hey, guys. Did anyone see Pam Oliver's wig hat combination today? Anybody?
Untouchables up against you guys, just so we know. Corey said, I lost 1 unit on each race on a head-to-head, but had some bad luck with each F1 had an engine issue, and the other in a NASCAR guy got a lucky break staying out of fuel. What's up with this Roland hype? Nice name, by the way. And Dylan, you got too much time on your hands. Jackson, I think there's at least 5 names in the picks contest this week that are Roland Walton references. Finkel is Einhorn as Walton is Toddfield.
Oh my God, that's name of the week. I don't care who's doing it. That is name of the week. I hope it's not John Stacey.
All right, this game started. I'd have to check. It looks like the Vikings start with the ball. Oh.
Guys, is it are the Seahawks jerseys in or out?
I love those Seahawks jerseys. Okay, cool. Untouchable. How's that matchup going? The fat guy manages that team, so I haven't been following how it's gone today. Oh, that's good, Corey.
I want Minnesota to win this game outright.
That would be nice. Justin Jefferson and Adam Thielen are the top 2 rated wide receivers, according to PFF. That's some high praise.
Is Cleveland 4-1? Am I right?
Cleveland's 4-1.
How?
They won 4 in a row after losing their first game. They're surprisingly, or I heard today that they're the top-rated offensive line, according to some advanced metrics.
That's plausible.
You know what sucks about the Browns is that people think the Browns are good because they've got like Chubb and Hunt and Beckham and Landry, which is it's disappointing because there's actually quite a lot of value if the Browns didn't have these skill position name players.
If they had regular guys, it would work out better.
Yeah, there would be a lot of value, but they're overvalued right now and overhyped by both public and sharps, and it's just funny how the sharps are on them because of the offensive line play and coaching and defensive play, and then squares are on them because of Odell Beckham.
Jackson nailed it with his comment. It's so true. That's why rookie contracts, they're unbeatable. Because think about it, they got Diggs off the payroll, and they saved what? They traded like how much? They're probably going to lose a tiny bit in as far as skill, but they're going to get, God, what? 15 times their money? Like, it's unreal.
You know what's ironic about Jackson just saying that is I was just going to bring that up right before I looked down into chat. Because I was just thinking if Jefferson's already considered the best receiver in the league after the first 4 weeks, then that's unbelievable value. And I wonder how much of that is just how Minnesota calls their plays.
I'm going to agree with Corey Andy.
It's worked out for the Bills too, though.
Corey Andy said that Raiders are the best O-line in the league. I think so too. I read a mock draft where they said the Raiders were going to take a tackle because they're destitute at that position. That was the word the guy used. And I'm like, Colton Miller and Trent Brown are destitute? Like, Colton Miller's the small one, and he's 6'7", 315. They're the heaviest O-line. They give Derek Carr enough time to throw.
I've got a funny story of just getting some messages from my brother, and he's playing.
Oh, yeah?
My brother, to give background, my brother played college hockey in Florida fairly recently, and he just played a beer league game with as he calls it, a rent attendee. So like they literally just called a guy up who wasn't on the team, and he came and played goalie for them. And then he approached my brother after the game to get him onto the college hockey team that he played for.
What? That's so funny.
Yeah.
Your brother must have had a good game. Lots of dangles.
They won by a lot, but it's just ironic that he thinks
he is Jackson. They're grooming Kubiak's son, though, I believe.
Dylan's top 5 are the Saints, Ravens, Bills, Chiefs, and Hawks.
Dylan, I don't think the Saints are in there. I got to be honest. It's close, though. Yeah, exactly. I'm with Corey Andy. Pittsburgh's got to get some love here.
Are the Bills? Where is the Bills Chiefs game?
That's a good question. I haven't looked that far ahead.
And I still think the Chiefs would be pretty big favorites against the Bills. Or like outside of 3, I guess you could say. It's in Buffalo. It was supposed to be played this Thursday, but I think that game was changed. I still think the Chiefs would be like 4-point favorites, even in Buffalo.
Big Rye, who's our top 5?
Well,
I think Chiefs and then Ravens is almost non-negotiable.
I'm going to pull up the standings here in just a second. Very nice opening drive from the Vikings.
Touchdown, Vikings.
I'm just pulling up the league standings right now.
Give you a better picture.
There's 5 teams that haven't lost a game so far.
Yeah.
That's the Bills, Seahawks, Steelers, Packers, and Titans.
Titans, yeah. Corey Andy, I bet you it's minus 300 now. The loss against Miami is ugly. There's too many guys hurt on that team.
I'm gonna kick the Bills, and the Titans out of that top 5, and I would say, in no particular order, the Chiefs, the Ravens, the Seahawks, the Steelers, and the Packers. To me, those are the top 5. I'd actually put the Steelers at the bottom. Steelers and Bills to me are actually kind of close.
I have a wild thing. I think the Rams are better than the Seahawks. They're not going to blow anyone out. They're going to do it a systematic way. I like the LA Rams.
The Rams are a plus. Let me just organize. The Rams have the 3rd best point differential in the league.
The Rams are playing great. They're playing undeniably great. Who'd they lose to, the Rams?
They lost to the Bills by 3.
Oh, yeah, and that was a barn burner. Strongest, the NFC West has got to be the strongest division. I don't think that's even arguable, really.
And then
AFC Seahawks,
North.
Rams, Cardinals, Niners. Come on, man. There's not even a bad team in there.
And then
Cardinals and Niners aren't that bad.
The AFC North has Baltimore, Pittsburgh, and Cleveland all at 4 wins, and between those 3 teams, there's 12 wins and 2 losses.
Yeah, Cincinnati brings that down. I think the Browns will level out, to be honest. What? Nice troll job, Mickey.
Mickey says NFC East.
Right now, the NFC East is the leader is 1-2-1. There's 3 wins in that division.
Just using point differential is actually a really nice way to go. In the NFC West, all 4 teams have a positive. Whereas the NFC East, all 4 are negative.
Did anyone see DK Metcalf box jump? Holy. Whew. He is an interesting one because he was such his straight line speed was unbelievable, size, strength. But I think it's because he did poorly on that one cone drill. What was it, the shuttle or whatever? And then everyone was sour on him. Great pickup for the Seahawks. I really don't think the Seahawks roster is that good. They have the best player in the league. That's undeniable.
That's why, to me, they're just in the bottom, at the bottom of that top 5. I just think that Wilson is just too good to not have him there.
Well, this is a new coach, Zitvono. I kind of like him. I've liked him in Minnesota. Oddly enough, I wouldn't be surprised if the
I'll be back in a moment.
I wouldn't be surprised if the Browns trim the fat and get rid of some of their highline receivers because they've got 36 million a year tied up between Landry and Odell Beckham, and you're almost never gonna get the return. And they're almost a run. They're like the Browns have a really nice offense, and I think it's system based. I don't think a talented receiver elevates it much. I actually think the Browns are coached quite well right now. Corey, Andy, you're talking about the best game I've watched since being a fan. He's referencing when Jacoby Brissett won with the Colts, but it wasn't Brissett. They ran the ball 4 times every series, and it was just unbelievable coaching moxie. They had an undermanned defensive line. The Chiefs did, and the Colts ran all over them last year. I haven't enjoyed a game as much as that one since I've been a fan. Yeah, I wonder what Roland's top five is. It might be eerily similar to Dylan Todd feels. The Raiders had to. They're not strong enough to pull that off. The D line got a lot better. The Chiefs D line, they're not susceptible to that anymore. I agree with what Dylan Clark had just mentioned. I pretty much think that's right. Like we're just speaking of what Jackson Littlewood had brought up earlier. Um, they traded a first round pick and change the Bills did for Stephon Diggs, only to pay Stephon Diggs a very high salary at wide receiver, and then they got Justin Jefferson in return in the draft, who is already outperforming Diggs. Not saying that's going to be sustainable and going to be for this entire year, but realistically, if there's just a limited drop off and you have to pay the guy 1/10 to 1/15 the salary, the benefits of a rookie contract are immense. That's why if you get a Big Rye always had this strategy. No, it ended up being a stay away this morning. So I got some money down early on Sunday night on the Dolphins, but I didn't top up though. Today the market sucks at Vono. There was all the lines moved against where I wanted it to. So yeah, Big Rye didn't make any bets on the Niners Dolphins game, despite that. Oh yeah, Jackson. QB's aside, that's what he had mentioned. QB doesn't matter. Just pay them what they want. I actually think the deal, $500 million for Mahomes, is a good one for 10 years, even though that sounds crazy. Offensive linemen hold their value in free agency as well. Everyone else doesn't. Skill position, especially. Skill position, it's rookie contract or bust. Because the skill position, they're usually best in their fourth year, anyways. And then things the wheels tend to fall off, right? Because longevity at skill position just is rare. There aren't that many Adrian Petersons and Frank Gores, and even then, Peterson and Gore have been declining for 5 years, right? The reason that they're serviceable is because they're so good at picking up offenses very quickly, and they're good at blocking. Not Peterson necessarily, but Gore for sure. Skill position would be wide receiver, running back, and I guess we'll call it a move tight end. So a tight end like you could say OJ Howard would be a good example of a move tight end. Um, Mark Andrews is close to a move tight end. Yeah, guys like that. Gronkowski was too much of a two-way tight end, Same with Ertz. Kelsey's a move tight end. Oh, absolutely. And then don't forget, Tunsil's not even like they drafted Titus Howard Jackson. Like, I don't know. I don't know. It's the I understood the Tunsil trade, but you're right. The amount of draft equity and salary they gave up over Dwayne Brown. But don't forget, the Dwayne Brown situation was untenable, much like the Trent Williams one was in Washington. Let me see here. I might agree with Corey. I mean, he said it's top 5. I have Chiefs at number 1, and then Ravens 2. It just this is a mock one in my head. Packers, Steelers, Rams. I don't see anything wrong with that. Obviously, Seahawks and Bills are worth consideration as well. So I like the Rams this year. This Dolphins team is playing so hard for Flores. I think Flores has done an unbelievable job. That Dolphins team was absolutely an abomination last year to start. Yeah, I know you meant Ravens. Yeah. Raiders are not there. I think the Raiders have the brightest future though. They have all those draft picks from the Khalil Mack trade. Minnesota, even though they're going to have to reset, Minnesota has a lot of draft picks as well. I mean, they got a hit though. Of course, that's another thing. So I'm curious where the Browns go from here, because the Browns might make the playoffs. They might. Obviously, I'm saying it tentatively, but they're missing a lot of pieces to be really good. Dolphins are another team of the future. Interesting. Yeah, I love what the Pats were doing. I think they're really good, despite I think the Pats roster stinks, but I think the Pats are so well coached and their strategy is unbelievable. I think they were shortchanged on Monday against the Chiefs. I thought they could have won that game, let alone cover the spread, which they did neither. I don't think shock, Dylan. When you bet on all these games, and you tend to take underdogs, it starts to get less surprising when you see performances like that. Like the Raiders just outgunned them. They really did. And I don't know. The Raiders and Dolphins for me are teams of the future. The Ravens safety, Jonathan Abrams, is oh man. I mean, that's obviously he wasn't even necessarily a bright spot of today, but I wasn't that shocked. But I just wanted to cover, and they happened to win because the Chiefs are due for that a couple times a year. I mean, it's just math, right? Like, if the Raiders took a lot of big play chances and they happened to pan out, that's kind of what you have to do. I'm trying to think of a team that would need to gamble to win and could get it done. Here's a good team: the Dolphins could beat the Chiefs with a good Fitzpatrick performance. Fitzpatrick could really beat anybody, but the problem is Fitzpatrick. His decision making is so dangerous that it leads to disaster a lot of the times. But don't forget, 17-point underdogs on week 17 last year. The Miami Dolphins beat the Patriots, who were arguably the best team in the league, or second best team going into the playoffs last year. So that's what I mean. Like I think a Jameis Winston performance could put the Chiefs down. I mean, Derek Carr did it as well. So you just kind of need to take chances. If you don't take chances, you can't beat the Chiefs.
Oh, for sure the Dolphins.
I think Dolphins and Raiders. That's how I'd mention. There's a chance of the Browns. The Vikings have a lot of draft picks, but I don't think they're going to be able to lock up a quarterback. That might be it though. I'm trying to find. I don't think I think the Giants are too far removed. They don't have draft capital like any of those other teams do. I think the Bears are going to trend downwards eventually. Same with the Bucks. So it's got to be those teams I'd mention. I don't think the Colts are going to get over the hump. Panthers is another one I don't mind. I don't mind Panthers going forward. They have a good quarterback on a good contract. They can get if they draft another guy in the second or third round that happens to pan out, they have to hit on it, then they would be set up for success. And the Panthers have a lot of young talent.
The Panthers are playing so tough right now too. Like they're coached very well.
I like them.
They're just tough.
I like them.
Like they're playing smash mouth football. Teddy's making good decisions. They're not slouches on defense, despite their roster.
They got guys though, man. The defensive tackle they drafted in the first round, Ryan Burns, isn't a bad player. First round, I guess we'll call him Joker, the first round pass rusher from last year. Dante Jackson, the cornerback, is quite a nice piece. Teddy Bridgewater on a great contract. McCaffrey's not my favorite thing to have, but I mean, his salary is starting to look more reasonable compared to the salaries of upcoming running backs. I agree, Jackson. I just think they're in a bridge situation because I don't know how they're going to get a quarterback. Do you know what I mean? Like how the problem is I don't think Rivers is good enough to get him over the hump. I like their GM, but I mean they're in a middling spot. They're going to be a 7 to 10 win team for the foreseeable future. It's just very hard to elevate them, right, without getting a really good quarterback. The Jets have a more. This is an interesting take.
No, they don't.
The Jets have a more talented roster than the Pats. I'm gonna say no, but the coaching, I don't. I think they're actually comparable, aside from quarterback. You take quarterback out of they're comparable. The problem is though the Jets are just the most abysmally coached team.
The Jets roster Mickey is Hill not said good, though. The Jets roster is bad as well. Like the coaching's bad and the roster's bad.
Yeah. Especially like you take I like how their highest paid player pretty much opts out in a CJ Mosley. Heroin's a downer, Dylan.
The Jets have 2 Pro Bowl players on their roster and they're both running backs. Probably both, and they're both past their prime.
Yeah, Cam is so much better than Darnold. The Jets actually started Joe Flacco today, so which wasn't a bad decision. Jackson just threw a bombshell. Yeah, that would be it. You got one trade though, or you better hit on a quarterback. Maybe trade up for like Justin Fields, who is just a name. I don't actually know him by play level. We're up 7 points here in the first quarter. Right on.
Le'Veon Bell is my favorite running back. And the difference between Bell and whoever the Patriots have is just, it's minimal. Like, it's not going to make a difference win-wise. Like,
well,
you see how good Bell is, and he can't get anything going with the Jets and their offense.
I actually think the running back room in the Patriots is quite nice. It's a coterie of talent, more or less, with different skill sets. Damian Harris, Sony Michel, Rex Burkhead, Brandon Bolden, James White. It's not bad. It's the most important, Zip.
After coaching, it's the most important.
Yeah. I think we found it, Jackson. I mean, I would be happy to send a first rounder over if I could acquire Matt Stafford. If I was them, that makes sense to me. Detroit, you got to pull the plug at some point, because I imagine that in Detroit they got to be thinking about dropping the hammer. I mean, just wiping everything. Patricia is so bad.
I don't think they're quite here. I think the Colts have a Super Bowl roster, but I don't think they're playing like a contender right now.
I think they need one more pass rusher because I don't think they're strong in. They're that strong at cornerback, but. Give me the other one back. Do you like the angle on one? Or I'll take the arrow. One of the two. Oh.
I think Darnold's one of the worst quarterbacks in the league right now. Worst starting quarterbacks.
You know what, Sid? I've always wondered that. They
What
did
team
that with
brought the
Jalen Hurts a bit.
What team brought the CFL quarterback over?
CFL, I can't recall. I remember the Jalen Hurts getting a few snaps at quarterback in that San Francisco game we streamed last week. Haskins, you could probably get him for a 5th-round pick, maybe my guess. Yeah, Brissett's just a filler, realistically, until the starter comes back. And I got nothing wrong. I don't hate on Brissett. I think he's done admirably in the amount of starts that he's had.
Chris Streveler. I'm trying to remember where he's playing for the Cardinals right now. I remember the Cardinals brought in Streveler on a 3rd and short or 4th and short.
That makes sense to me.
It's actually quite prominent in the CFL, but there's not a lot of NFL teams that bring in backups for short yardage.
And then Taysom Hill does that as well. Oh, we're all stoked. Alex Smith has won us a lot of money. We love him. Cover machine. Yeah, exactly. Not today, but whatever. You know what I kind of... sorry. You know what I kind of miss? What was I going to say here? Like, I liked when the Pats used to switch linemen. Like, put all their road graders in.
Mm-hmm.
You know, like that was a process that they don't do enough in NFL football. And yeah, and switching quarterbacks as well, stuff like that. It's too rigid in how they operate. Too much old school.
I think what a fan wouldn't like from Kirk Cousins is just his inconsistency. He's had very, very strong games, and then he looks terrible the next week. And like the best quarterbacks, they give you consistency. Like they'll have their bad games, but there's more good than bad. And for Cousins, I feel like it's a coin flip how he's going to play snap to snap. Maybe not snap to snap, but game to game.
Dylan Exotic. Well, Dylan is the closest thing we have to Joe Exotic in the Big Ryan the Fat Guy ether. What? Who said I hated the Vikings? I've never said that. My dad's team. I mean,
because you picked against them 2 weeks ago. That's why Dylan thinks you hate them.
Oh yeah.
Strangely enough, Corey, a Lions-Falcons game actually would probably be not that bad. Like, that's a game that could finish with 70 points.
Yeah.
Especially if the Falcons get a coaching change and they have an offensive coach come in.
That's true, and it would be better for him to be more. He has a lot of talent to work with. Zip Vono has a really good point. It took him decades to figure out that 3 points are more efficient. Yeah, and that long twos were bad. Exactly.
That also became a thing because 3-point shooters became better over time, and there was a lot more of them.
That's a
remember
good point.
like when like Reggie Miller and like I guess even like Ray Allen at the start of his career. I'm trying to think of like other
Milwaukee Ray Allen, who Dan Marley, Peja Stojakovic.
Yeah, Peja Stojakovic is another good one. Remember it was like there was like 5 guys in the league that could shoot threes. Like at a 35-40% rate, and that was like it. Those were the only guys that could shoot them pretty much.
Now every team has one.
Yeah.
Can't compete otherwise. JJ Redick was he the first like harbinger, like the changing of the guard, like, oh, maybe this could work?
No, it was definitely not JJ Redick.
Kyle Korver?
It was probably the Phoenix Suns and Mike D'Antoni. And then Golden State Warriors and the Houston Rockets kind of made it what it is today.
We're witnessing a great rushing performance. This is a nice game from the Vikings and Dalvin Cook so far. He might have got paint or poked in the eye or something. Looks like he's difficult or he's laboring. He's got a towel on it. Hope he didn't get paint in his eye. That'd be worse. Looks like they got Madison in here on a 2nd and 2. Well, second effort as well. Great job. It's boring to most, but I love power football.
The Seahawks came with a lot of pressure there, but Minnesota managed to get through it.
Yeah, O-line matters more than coaching. No. O-line matters as a whole, maybe more than a quarterback.
See, an O-line, it's way easier for a coach to make an O-line look good than for an O-line to make a coach look good.
Yes. Okay, Cousins just got boom dropped by Eric Barton.
Even I forget who was calling the game, but they were talking about I think it was Troy Aikman was talking about the philosophy of Belichick versus the philosophy of Bruce Arians. And Arians likes to go like deep to short, which I know Gruden always talks about, like touchdown to check down. But Belichick's the opposite. He's like check down first, and then if nothing's open short, you throw long. And for Brady and the New England offensive line, like you can tell how much of a difference that made over his career. And you see Brady now on Tampa Bay taking way more sacks, and it's a lot to do with philosophy. Because if he's trying to throw the ball 20, 30 yards downfield to, Mike Evans, Chris Godwin, those kind of guys, Scotty Millers, the O.J. Howards of the world, then he's not going to be checking down. He's not going to that offensive line has to hold up for 2-3 more seconds each play than they would in New England. And then everyone hypes up the New England O-line going like, oh, they're always so good. And it's like, yeah, Brady was taking 3-step drops and the ball was coming out as soon as he could.
I mean, that's probably an emulation, though, of the West Coast, like a Bill Walsh type offense, right? A West Coast. I mean, that was revolutionary at the time. But it would be hard to argue that some of those San Francisco teams weren't of the best that have ever taken the field, realistically. Very efficient offenses.
But you can see that I remember who was the coach in Chicago when Cutler was there? Was it Marty something?
Well, there was the CFL, Mark Trestman.
No, before, like I'm talking 10 years ago.
Lovie Smith?
No, like an offensive coordinator. I feel like he might have coached the Rams too.
You're talking about he would tell you to throw into windows. He used to coach the Cowboys or the Rams. I can't remember his name now. He's super famous. Mike Martz.
Yeah, Mike Martz from 2000 to 2005. I liked this is like going way back, but I believe Mike Martz coached in Chicago as well. Let me just double check to make sure.
He absolutely did.
So it looks like he was only a head coach in St. Louis.
He was an interesting old coordinator, I can tell you that much, though.
Yeah, the Bears had him in 2010. Till
right on. Vikings up 10. Wow. 10 on the road, guys.
So the reason why I bring up Mike Martz and Jay Cutler is I remember Martz was famous for like 7 and 9 step drops.
Yeah.
And it put a ton of pressure on that Bears O-line. And like think about how many sacks, how many mistakes Jay Cutler made, but like can you think of a guy that's better suited to drop back like, 7-9 and be able to throw that ball 40, 50 yards downfield pretty much anywhere he wanted? I know Fat Guy loved Cutler, but...
Well, he did design the greatest show on turf. I didn't love Cutler, but I loved the potential of it. Like I don't think Cutler's is like as negative as other people thought he was. And I honestly I thought Cutler had the best prototypical quarterback skill set and body type that I had seen.
Yeah, just talking
Um,
about like physical skills, Cutler was excellent.
I
The
still think he might be the best.
the thing
He had
is that think about how much different those styles are. Like the Brady style, where it's like you literally hut the ball, and he's already looking upfield to see like it could be one step drop, and he might be hitting Edelman for like 2 yards down the field. Like it's just a different philosophy, and I feel like that's what Washington needed to do today against the Rams because the Rams were just getting through like way too fast.
when it
And
alleviates pass rush.
yeah,
The
it doesn't matter how like the whole reason why I'm saying all this is because Dylan said O line's the most important, and like coaching can make that O line a lot better than it looks by just calling different plays. And you can go with screens, you can go with those short little quick passes. Like there's ways of getting around a good defensive line. Like and also like you can take 8 or 9 plays on a drive and then do your 5 and 7 step drops. You know, after a defensive line has had to rush for 9 or 10 plays.
Mickey made the comment, Cutler's body language would make everyone hate him. He never hit nearly his ceiling though. That's the part that bugged me about him. And uh, going back to what Big Ry said, a lot of that strategy I think helps with the type. Think of the type of receivers that generally play on New England. I like receivers that can block, and so does New England. And a lot of those short passes, you got to be tough after the catch because you're good. There's contact, right? If you make passes like that, and I like think Edelman is a tough guy for how small he is, and players like him. I'm trying to think of another really good example like that. Moss took the top off. Welker was a tough little guy. Chris Hogan was a tough little guy. Good hands, reliable. I mean, that's not great athletes, but I mean, you can circumvent that a bit.
And there's so much like a lot of the work is done pre-snap, and there's a lot of like movement and ways to get guys open so you can get the ball out to them quickly. The which you just a lot of teams you just don't see that kind of stuff.
We can't. I don't want to get into too much detail yet, Coriani, because we gotta hit the like. That'll be a big chunk of the video, right? Is glossing over that. So I don't want to use. It's kind of like Regis Philbin always said, save it for the show. Oddly enough, I gotta save because I do it as a stream of consciousness. Most of the like I have bullet points and ideas, but then I just I don't know. I feel like my best words come out not on script, so I tend to just leave it for the show. Not that I don't want to comment on it or answer your question. It's just I'm limited by my own skill set. This is a nice first half for Minnesota so far. Of course, I say that and things are going to fall apart, but
I agree with what Mickey said. Spend your money on coaches and quarterbacks. Everyone else is interchangeable.
Week 7. Okay.
Corey, so I'm looking back and seeing you're saying how are the Bills only 2-point favorites versus the Jets, and that would have been a line that was created at the start of the season. So before the Jets and Bills would have played any games, I'm guessing the Jets are at home, and they probably had the Bills as maybe 2 wins better than the Jets. So Jets were probably like a 5-win, and Bills were probably like an 8-win, and that's how you get a 2-point line. Because off the top of your head, fat guy, what would you say the Bills would be favored over the Jets?
On the road?
Let me just double check to see where it's being played. Yeah, they play in New York. Well, at the Jets are home.
I honestly right now 9.5. It's the hardest team to put money on is the Jets. It is.
Yeah,
And
Corey.
we got
So
another stack.
there's there's look ahead lines for all 16 weeks that you can take a look at. I don't know where or if you can bet them, but the books put them out early. Like I believe there's like casinos in Vegas where like I could walk in and say at the start of the week I could bet whoever plays in week 15 like a game.
I think Mickey and I are pretty congruent. 15 is too much, Dylan. Dylan, I'll make you a bet. I'll take Jets plus 15. 15 is too much. 2 touchdowns. I'd be comfortable laying 7 on the Bills. There you go. We're all in the same. I think 7's too little, to be honest. I like 9.5. That seems right to me.
It's going to be between, off the top of my head, I'd say it'd be between 9.5 and 10.5, depending on which side Vegas wants money on.
I'd be taking the Jets at 10.5. 9.5 I wouldn't bet for me. I would take the Bills. I would lay 8.5 with the Bills in that game.
So 9 to 10 is kind of that sweet spot where the fat guy wouldn't take a bet. Seahawks are punting, so Minnesota's going to get the ball. Up 10 with 5 minutes left. It'd be super, super nice strategy-wise if the Vikings can keep the ball until the end of the half, whether they put up points or not.
Yeah, I agree, Mickey. 10.5, and I'm taking the Jets there. I'm not in love with it. Don't quote me there. 15 I love. I'll tell you that. I would take now Dylan's flip-flopping. Now you're being reasonable. DraftKings is
What's
a bizarre animal.
Corey, if you do have a DraftKings account, how much can you put on a game that's like a couple weeks ahead? Because that's really
great question.
Because what a lot of these books do is they'll have low totals on games that are like look ahead lines, we'll say, and they use that information of people that put bets on those early lines to then make the lines a lot higher, or like the maximums a lot bigger when they do feel comfortable on a line. Like I don't have the well, let me take a look. Like for instance, okay, this is a really good example. On Tuesday, the Bills play the Titans, and the most I can bet at that game in Pinnacle and Canadian dollars is 3,000.
So that's very small.
Whereas the Monday game, I can bet 28,000 right now. So what they'll do is they'll put out those like a 3,000 max. Let me see what. This is NCAA, but there's a game on the 14th. College football, I can only bet 1,400 max. 1,300 on Friday. 1,300 on Friday. Saturday. Let me just see if there's no, they don't have any NFL games up yet. But yeah, only 3,000 is the max I can put. F those Canadian dollars. It's essentially 2,000 US is the max I could put on a Bills Titans game if I wanted to on Tuesday.
Bad teams do tend to improve over the course of the season, so I mean that. We don't take it personally, Jay. Don't worry. Our money looks like Monopoly money. We know that. I want Jackson's question rectified. Mapletron? That's hilarious. Yeah, he's I got a connection to him, Mickey. I didn't even know. So
Okay, Corey.
yeah, you know what? Honestly, Corey, it's a lot smaller, even in Vegas a lot of the time. One of my friends a guy that kind of turned me on to sports betting. He'd get turned away all the time for the sizing that he'd try and do. So the market is way smaller than you think. I imagine right now it is, especially considering there aren't that many travelers or pleasure gamblers. Jets plus 17. Okay, at least he answered. I think that's insane, but I get it. That's his line. He's allowed to have it. 3rd and 1 here. There you go. Yes, 2064. So Big Rye holds true. It's unfortunate they didn't get it. yeah, Mickey. Mickey, you're closer to Canadian Maple than we are.
So those maximums are an interesting way for the books to get early action. 2034.
See, that follows the same thing, though. Yeah, that's good information. Thank you, Corey.
So they're willing to get those early bettors to get that information and data down, and that's how they decide on where they're going to move those lines, because they don't care. Like they'll lose out on that first 10% on maybe people will get those good lines that open, but then the next 90% of bets are going to be on the line that they actually want it on.
Well, because think about it, like the expected value on a $3,000 bet where they take a bad line is going to be at worst $450. So think about it this way: they invested $450 to have someone else do a lot of the work for them.
Yeah,
if that makes any sense.
Set the market.
Exactly.
Like I bet you there's going to be 10,000 bets on that Bills Jets game, and maybe 40 people bet the Bills -2 before the season started. So they lose out on that, and then they'll be able to set the line at, like the fat guy said, it's going to be 9.5, 10.5, somewhere around there.
Happy Thanksgiving, Indy. Although it's Canadian Thanksgiving right now, today.
Yep. Got my chicken, or my turkey, mashed potatoes, stuffing.
You cook a turkey, Big Rye? Yes, no?
My smoking hot wife cooked one.
Well, Corey, a lot of times if you are a whale, they'll accept almost any bet to continue gambling. That's why a lot of those huge sports bets you hear about on like Floyd Mayweather and stuff, they would never accept that from a pro. But if they know the guy is a big whale or he plays a lot of table games, they'll just let him. They'll extend the limit way bigger. Well, we get a holiday tomorrow, Indy, so I don't know. Maybe I'm wrong. I thought it was a Sunday. Whatever. Well, what do whales? They can just tell by the betting history, right? They can tell who a whale and a pro is. There's lots of indicators. Yeah. Sorry, Mickey had the comment of the day so far.
That is really funny. I'm laughing at it too.
I would say that he did, Mickey. I got to be honest. Oh, yeah, this is in no order. Yeah, I kind of figured anyway.
I don't think there's any issue with someone saying the Packers are the best team in the league right now, to be honest. I'm not.
He just threw not in order.
I know he said that, but like I have no issue with someone saying that they think the Packers are the best team.
Oh, wow. Tuesday, I can't Tuesday. Unfortunately, I won't be on stream. Big Ryan might be able to. I'm not able to though.
I might. Who's playing? Is it Bills Titans?
Well, no, Corey. It's because they're gonna see the account in a casino. They're gonna know if you're a whale because if you play table games, if you're a big table game player, Corey, you're they got you. You know what I mean? Because you're if you're giving up EV, you're not a professional. A lot of EV at least. You know.
A big sack here. A lot of like big sports bettors will have proxies in Vegas,
Yeah.
but like eventually
Yeah.
they get found out. So it's crazy to think that some people are so good that they have to hire other people to go to different casinos to make bets. But like the casino can always they can always accept or they can deny bets. Like if somebody just walks in that they've never seen that wants to put $100,000 on, Vikings money line tonight, then they might be thinking twice about what they want to do. They might even flip the line and change it before the bet's made. I have the option of going to a Thanksgiving dinner tomorrow night. I was going to talk to you about it.
Oh yeah, no problem. We'll have a discussion after the stream.
All right.
Well, Mickey, I didn't think Rogers would be playing. I kind of thought that his days of those performances were over, and clearly they're not.
Because because Tuesday's Bills Titans, I might actually stream because that's a really
I know it's a
interesting
good
game to
game.
watch.
Well, Black Baccarat is the worst, Corey. Don't that's Baccarat is the stealer of souls. There's a casino, one of the highest money making casinos in North America, is about 25-30 minutes from Big Ryan and I, and a lot of it caters to Asian internationals. There's a lot of very wealthy Chinese people that live in our city, and there's a story of a 2 hour window where they made 30 million in the private baccarat room, that's a lot for a small Canadian casino. So it's the stealer of souls. Blackjack, you'd have to, I don't know, you would know if someone was card counting, so then that would give you the boot. Poker, I don't know that many sports guys that play a lot of poker aside from myself. So I know poker players that I know pro poker players that blow their winnings sports betting. I know those, but I don't know the other way around. So aside from Haralabob's the ultimate. That's a good example. That Cantor Gaming, when uh, they tried to revolutionize the sports betting market. They offered they would take any bet. That was kind of their thing. But then that proved not to be true. There's a seminar talk with Haralabos Vulgaris. I'll type his name into the chat. You guys got to look him up. He's the god of sports betting, and it is a good name.
At least
He was in
for
on the chat, and so
NBA
was
sports
the
betting.
yeah. If you could type it in the chat, Big Riot, I'd appreciate it. And then he was on in this lecture with the head of Cantor Gaming, and uh, they only limited Haralabob to he could bet with them, but only 500 a bet, which to Haralabob is, the edge is going to be what 3%. So Haralabob is going to be making $15 a bet. Come on. Yeah, Corey, it's 1% though. It's 1% a hand. That's a massive edge. It's massive. Think about it. You could do 200 and there's oh my god. Okay, never mind. Best comment of the day. The true god of sports betting is the Sports Guy Show. It sure is, man. You see his winning percentage? How many games in a season, Big Rye? Well, it's 32 squared, which is
It's 256.
256. Yeah. Think about it. 256 hands can be done in what, a few hours, 4 hours maybe, at 1% a hand. That's they can get more percentage off one guy playing two shoes of baccarat than the entire all of than they will from Big Ryan an entire year. You know what I mean? Oh, a sports guy, yeah. Oh, absolutely, Untouchable Jay. He's interesting. It's just a different form of entertainment. I'm assuming that he's entertaining, or we are, for that matter. Oh. Well, that was a big snap, Big right, cracking a cold one there.
Hell yeah, brother.
Little Thanksgiving pumpkin, having a pumpkin ale or one of those fruity beers. Big Rye's a Radler drinker, if you guys didn't know. He's hard on the Radler.
Yeah. I've had my favorite Radler the last week or so, but I drank them all. I'm drinking a bubbly tonight. That should be called the Teaser show.
Yeah, oh, absolutely.
Is he still not taking his clothes off? His personality, crazy. His gambling strategy, crazier.
Yeah. In the league which they play. My girlfriend didn't like that noise, by the way. Hey, Jamie. Sorry about the loss today. You have to lose it once in a while, though.
Hey, Jamie. The thing that I found funny about that game is that the commentators were treated. There was 6 minutes left, and they were down 16, and the commentators were treating it like it was an automatic loss.
Yeah, that was funny. You know what I found annoying? The Raiders should have gone for 2 on their second touchdown. That put them up 16. Oh yeah, teasers are even worse than parlays. It's the whole thing. Yes, and Mickey, Jamie, we all agree with Mickey. Chiefs are still the best. They're allowed to lose one, even though it's a tough Division 1 at home. Yeah, everyone's seen it. It's I mean, take from it which you will. It's some form of entertainment for some people. You know. I like to think I know a little bit more, but I could be wrong. Maybe he's got it all figured out. I mean, look at his win rate.
The Corey, you talked about how books love teasers more than parlays, and I remember a stat I was just looking at, breaking down last year's stuff, and don't quote me on this because it looks like Minnesota jumped. But no flag on the play. The let me get back to my point, which I've forgotten what I was going to say.
The stat about teasers.
Oh, yeah. Just looking back at previous win differentials, 50% of games finished with a point differential over 10 points, I believe, last year. So people love these 9.5 points and stuff, but it's literally half the games. And even if you were to say obviously the favorites are winning by more than 10 at times, 25% of the time you're not winning a teaser, even if you have 9.5 points. This is very, very, very rough math, and I'm going off of stuff that I saw 8 months ago, but I found it interesting because people are I can't lose. Indy, plus 9.5, and then they lose by 10. It's how these things go.
Mickey Hill unwavering in his support for CMC on his team. Mickey Hill with a favorite in our fantasy to win it outright. Don't tease it. Jackson's got a great point. Don't teasers just involve Alabama covering an easy number with terrible juice? Yes, they do, and that's often what people would tease someone like Alabama. I think it's worse, Corey. I think you have to have a win rate of like 72%. Big Rye did the math reasonably.
Yeah. I
I
think it
can't.
was
Nothing's close to 100%. You'd have to rethink your math. There's no way it's close to 100. There's just nothing. There's nothing in the universe I know of. And I don't get me wrong. Are there some teasers that are probably plus EV? Absolutely. If you dig hard enough, and there's probably a way, probably using covariance, you could probably find teasers that are plus EV. It's just the problem is that's I bet you it's less than 1% of them. It's usually a big hustle bet. I used to sell teaser cards at my place of work, and that's the easiest money I've ever made gambling.
the if you're betting against the spread, like just normal against the spread at Pinnacle, it's minus 105, which means you have to win at 51.2% to break even. If you're betting in Vegas at minus 110, you need to be right 52.4% of the time. And then to break even at Pinnacle, or I'm not going to say Pinnacle, but to break even on a parlay or teaser, you have to be right. I think it's 59% of the time. So if you were right on your picks, let's say 59% of the time, if you bet a parlay or a teaser, you're going to break even. Whereas if you were betting just games against the spread, just normally, I'll say, you're going to be up 7-8% expected value. So it makes there's never a case where you could convince me that it's better to take a parlay or a teaser over anything else. Like you just pay way too much.
I'm going to come up with it. I'm going to come up with the exact scenario. Sometimes teaser cards or parlay cards are put out early in the week, and they still accept them later on. So you can have a line move and still get a good line. And if you're able to do a true two-team parlay, which often that's what people do, is on two teamers, they don't charge any juice, which is actually better. Which is better than paying juice. A true two teamer is 4-1. So if you can get a 4-1 two-team parlay and use covariance, i.e., that you get to bet a total and a spread on this and parlay it on the same game, and you get a good line, then you could beat it. That's the scenario for me to do it. And those are, if I knew where to do it, I would do it all the time. And not to mention, there are things that I haven't considered, and there are scenarios, but someone would have to show me in detail how it works to convince me.
Well, the thing is with any of these bets, the math is there. So if it's something that you're going to be doing regularly, I would definitely recommend sitting down and working out what the math is. If it's something you're just going to do for fun once in a while, then it doesn't matter. Just do whatever's going to give you the least regret, as the fat guy says. Yeah, Indy's using the Panthers as an example of you can get away with having a good coach and a good quarterback, and everything else kind of just fits into place.
Well, no matter what Hilo said. Well, then if it's gonna win straight against the spread at a good rate, then you're paying a lower commission. You're gonna win more money doing it that way, right? So like by comparison, it's even better. And it's I mean, small sample is correct, right? I'm not saying it's impossible, and I'm not trying to crush streams, but I would just need like really concrete evidence to explain to me how it would be better, right? And it's tough to do. It would be a lot of convincing. Teddy is the new Alex Smith. He kind of was, anyways. It's I'm a big fan of Carolina. I'd said that many times. Oh, here we go. Oh. Oh, an attempt at the end zone on 3rd and 7. Shaquille Griffin, brother of Shaquem Griffin. That was close. Yeah, I think that's right. 47.3. I found I unearthed the book the other day, but I can't. I've read it a couple times. Well, more than a couple, but I can't quote it verbatim. Beat the sports books, unfortunately. Should by now though. 13-0 though. This is a great half. What a half by Minnesota, especially if you have him as a dog. Never hated the Vikings, Dylan. I picked them this week. But what more would you like?
Yeah, Formula One is rarely even talked about in North America.
Mickey, I don't touch over-unders, period, because I just lose. I have the fuck. I should just do the opposite, whatever I think. I was listening to the guys at the poker table on Friday talk about how they kept taking overs and winning. And then and then that made me more like, heels dug in about taking unders, but I'm leaving them alone. I'll be right back, gentlemen. Yeah, they can see it.
Yeah, I'd have to double check Jackson. Dylan likes to ride the fat guy any way he can. Pretty rare scoreless half from Seattle. They still do have 10 seconds to put up some points. They still have all 3 timeouts, but they're only going to be able to get 2 plays off. That's nice, Corey Andy. I know you read a lot of these stories about professional bettors that find that niche and they just ride it. Oh, Dylan, he was talking about like you had a middling opportunity. Like if you were going to get on the Vikings early in their week, I think they might have been as high as 9-point underdogs. And the line at kickoff was 6.5. So people had bet the Vikings down to 6.5. And he was saying at 6.5, it's almost worth taking the Seahawks. And the Seahawks could definitely still win this game by 7 or more. Still a bad bet in my opinion. Luckily F1 was in Germany, so I was able to sleep during that bad bet. It's usually a coaching error if you have 10 seconds to do something at the end of half, but all 3 timeouts. Yeah, it just so happened. I didn't see anything that was too bad there, Jackson, but I know what you're saying. Corey said, yeah, I started off doing small units, but this week the prop was canceled and I had a 3 unit. It technically did cash too, but it is what it is. New man on the Minnesota Vikings. Fat guy wouldn't get that. Yeah, not to write this one off. Seahawks always live. it's definitely a good first half from Minnesota. And this is a game I left alone, so I'm not on this to be saying like, "Oh, I knew the Vikings would do this." I think 7 points is about fair. Holy shit, Corey. That's some dedication right there. Yeah, the betting market was horrible today. It was very even. It's interesting, Mickey. I was going to mention this earlier, but the money split percentage between home and away teams for the first 4 weeks of the season has been exactly 50-50. That doesn't mean that the exact dollar amount is that close, but as far as betting splits between all the early, like all the first 4 week games, it's been 50-50. So the sports books, I think, have kind of taken some losses here just straight up these first few weeks, and they adjust. They're losing, I think, too much from all these big teams like Baltimore and Kansas City. So they got to keep the lines high and just hope that they get even money on each side. Corey said, I work second shift in my casinos on the highway on the way home. It's so tempting to go in at midnight and bet, but I could have went and live bet the end of Game 5 of the finals. Dylan, Big Rye is a joke because I'm very small.
Nah, he's got an OnlyFans. You can just ask him after the stream. Send us an email. We'll let you know.
The only game you loved today was Philly, and you got a bad result. Yeah.
Yeah.
How
Nice
could you
day
not
for
love
Miles
Miami
Sanders,
plus
though.
8.5? That was so inflated. I haven't really touched. I bet, I think, the first game of the finals, and I took Miami, and they got blown out, so I've left the finals. Like I said, Big Rye, I've done my research on F1 each week and knew, but had hit about 85% this year, and all I had to do was go to guest services and cash. Liking Eagles plus 7 home against Baltimore next week. I feel like, or the Eagles are at home.
He's like 5'6", 5'7", Dylan. So that was the joke.
That's being very generous, fat guy.
Yeah, well.
One interesting thing I noticed is the Raiders and Chiefs almost went over in the first half.
Sure did. I like the Panthers. I mean, I'm probably going to go against them this week, but going forward, I like the Panthers. Oh, any bet within 15 minutes can be refunded. They used to do that in horse racing. Well, they still do a Pari Mutual. And then my dad and his crew of cronies used to manipulate horse racing markets locally, and they'd bet them up for a couple hours before the race would start. So the line would change on the computer, and then all the public money would pour in, and then they would cancel all their bets 10 minutes before post, and they would usually do it all at the same time. So they would box out other people trying to make a bet so that they would cash out and then buy on the horses they didn't like. It's called a steam maneuver. My dad got in a lot of trouble for that. That was in the 70s. But that's the thing. You add those little loopholes, someone's going to find a way to manipulate. That's for sure.
as long as the bet isn't live.
Yeah. Well, it's because you can cancel because you're not locked in at a price in horse racing. So that's part of mutual betting, though. That's different. Mind you, you guys have all in America. Most racetracks are part of mutual, from what I understand, if not all.
I feel bad for Dak Prescott.
So do I.
He's the Dallas Cowboys actually have the most points for in the league right now, and they still have a negative 17-point differential.
I don't even think their defensive roster is that bad. Like how? Who's a D coordinator in Dallas though? I'm curious about that now. Very curious.
Mike Nolan. The defensive line coach is Jim Tomsula.
No, for Dallas Cowboys?
Yep.
That's a fun one.
Assistant defensive line coach is Leon Lett.
Leon Lett?
Yeah, it says he's got
Leon Lett.
8 years of experience as well.
Leon Lett is coaching. Okay.
He's the assistant defensive line coach, and Jim Tomsula is the defensive line coach. So he's essentially the assistant coach for Jim Tomsula.
Well, that's a brain trust right there. In early 20th century Russia, they would call that a Duma, Big Rye, a Duma. I always liked that form of government. Doesn't seem that bad. It's not democratic though by any means. A Duma is where you take the 100 smartest people from your country and you make it like a Senate, and they make all the decisions.
I think that's what they do in Singapore.
That would be interesting if they did.
I'm not sure if they do that with government, but they do that in certain aspects. They do that with students, actually.
The problem is that people that are really smart are usually fanatical in one area, one way or in the other. God, they got so much star power. I'm looking at this roster right now.
Well, it's every year the Dallas Cowboys have one of the strongest rosters as far as players and talent go, and the coaching hasn't been able to get that out of them.
Van Der Esch is hurt, but look at their front seven. Alden Smith, okay, I get it's different. Alden Smith, Everson Griffin, Leighton Van Der Esch, Randy Gregory, Don Terry Poe, Sean Lee can't even count because he doesn't play because he's too much of a wimp. DeMarcus Lawrence. I mean, that's up there, Big Ride. It's interesting to say the least.
Untouchable says, "Do I have a chance in the pool?" And you definitely have a chance. I don't know where you're at, but it's probably not a good chance. I think you're 7-4 this week, so you definitely have a chance. Mickey says it does fall on Jerry, though. He wanted a yes man. He hired McCarthy, and this is what he's getting from it. That NASCAR prop was too valuable, though, and it was changed to winning both stage 1 and 2 and win the race, so it basically eliminated all the value. And Jackson said next week might be a rare opportunity to take Tampa because they play the Packers, and the public won't like them after that Bears loss.
That is that's a primetime loss. And the other thing, too, is like a lot of the guys I play poker with, I like listening to who they take. And I knew Bears would be a good bet because the biggest thing I heard is I can't wait for Tampa on Thursday. So, I mean, that's usually a pretty good sign. And once someone like that feels jilted, it's the confidence is gone, and I would imagine that's where it is. Whereas Packers are all-time high. I'm liking this already. I don't even know what the line is. What line would I like? Where is it in Tampa or Green Bay?
The game's in Tampa. I could see it being Packers -3. That's my guess.
That's what I was just gonna say. Yeah, I'll take the Bucks. Thank you.
I'll take a look at what the actual line is.
I finished on top of the fat guy. It's one of my favorite lines. I did come up with it though, so I guess it's a little self-adulating. I can make the switch for you, Corey. That's the best part.
That's funny, Corey. Yeah, Jackson. I love that Bears Tampa game. I actually put the most I've put on a game in a while, at least unit wise. The line as of now, it opened at 3, but it's Packers -1.5. Actually, sorry, the original line was Bucks by 3, but now it's Packers -1.5. I don't think that Bucks -3 line was anytime recent. So it seems like Packers are going to be slight favorites. It's kind of disappointing because I think Buccaneers money line is the bet if it stays at 1.5. 94% of early bettors are on the Packers, so I could see that line going up to 3. Forsaken asked a good question, fat guy, talking about, I'm guessing he's referring to the Duma, but he said, who determined the smartest?
That's a good question. I don't actually know that answer. And, Forsaken Apostle, there you go. That's a really good question. I'd only ever read about it, and now, see what I mean? I shouldn't even say stuff like that, because now after we're done the show, I'm going to be in this Wikipedia or what have you cesspool of information.
It's by email, Corey. I can go and fix it for you.
This is a nice start to the game. We've talked pretty much about everything about the game, but just 13-0. This is great. And how is the Vikings D doing this against? I mean, Dallas has been the most prolific as far as point scoring, but Seahawks, I thought had the best offense so far.
Yeah, Corey, I was just gonna say it looks fine to me. I didn't read your question properly, but for anyone in chat, just make sure you guys use the same email each week, and that way your overall leaderboard will be tracked. I can always update it, like I can always change it if you guys need stuff changed. But the less work, the better for me.
I'm excited to look through the names this week. I haven't looked on purpose because I want a good reaction while I'm doing it. It'll make me happy for the show. Yeah, Mickey, I'm in the same boat in 2 other fantasies. I need Russ to have low points. Their corners have been abysmal, Corey. They've been really bad, the Vikings. But, I mean, maybe there's been some growth here. It's just bizarre. Yeah, Jeff Gladney, there's one of the rookies you're mentioning.
Mickey said he's one of the Roland Waltons. The Vikings,
I knew you would.
Vikings get a stop here on 3rd and 1, and I believe they stopped them for a loss, so Seattle has an interesting decision to make.
I'm gonna make this. This is one of the worst Vikings defenses under Mike Zimmer so far. But if they get a shutout, this will be the best defensive performance by the Vikings on defense under Mike Zimmer. Because this is a tough team to shut out, and they're doing a great job. Oh, you guys are teasing me. I really, really want to look through these names. Roland Walton once. I was trying to tip my hand that that's what I want. Yeah, yeah. I knew which people. I imagine John Stacy's one of them as well.
I got a feeling I know which one Mickey is too now.
Was Roland Walton the president of Tim Hortons? Like that for the problem why I almost didn't think it was Dylan was because that's such a unless he knows a Roland Walton or something or he just made it up. Is it like a weird Canadian dig? I don't know. It's so advanced.
Jackson said he's also one of the Roland Waltons.
Yeah, yeah.
Indy
And the
says
best
got
part
a
is nobody's. You know what? I just realized it's a really good time to plug our live streams is with the Roland Walton because obviously they're going to be mentioned. They'll be in the honorable mentions. Let's be real here.
everyone's gonna be a Roland Walton. I think that's
Yeah.
what you got to do this week.
Well, of course it is. Was I going to ignore that? I even asked for it.
AP
A lot
Indy
of
said, "Gotta love Zimmer. His teams are always buttoned up, always a good plan, always play their game."
Oh, Dylan.
Dylan, you have
Okay.
major competition with Roland.
Yeah, okay. And if Roland Walton happens to be the right guy, or happens to be a real person, yeah, you might have lost your spot, Dylan. You might have to step it up a bit.
The best is Dylan just tried to write on his Roland account and wrote on his Dylan account by mistake.
Yeah, yeah, he probably did. He's probably got two phones. He's from Florida. Hey, right on, Corey. We'll see you soon.
Later, Corey. I think a lot of people would agree, Mickey.
You know what I did last night? I couldn't go to sleep late at night. I watched Silence of the Lambs to try and make myself go to sleep. It wasn't scary, but like you could pick a better movie than that. I ended up watching it the first time in a while.
I've watched the first 3 scary movies
This month?
Yesterday.
Yes, yesterday?
Yeah.
Holy jeez. I will admit the first two are very funny.
The first 2 are they came out at the right time for us to
Yes, they
enjoy
did.
them.
Yeah, yeah, they
They're
did.
definitely not the same, but there's still some funny moments.
I saw it in theaters. What were you?
Probably. I can't remember it though.
Yeah. Yeah, yeah. Ted Levine's creepy in it. It's great.
I think I made a joke about like how I barely watched any movies recently, and I somehow Dalvin Cook is injured.
Oh no. Maybe he got a cramp or something.
I don't think so.
Why did he even catch that?
That looks like a
groin, hamstring?
Yeah, I'd say.
This might not be that. It doesn't look that bad, but I mean, who knows?
I don't think he's playing for the rest of the game.
Yeah. Why did he even throw that pass? Just throw it at his feet. Yeah, exactly. That the only thing that always takes me out of it is I remember people like Hannibal Lecter's like 5 foot. It's Anthony Hopkins. Anthony Hopkins is at my waist. You know, it doesn't like when I think in that terms, right? So it always takes me out of it. Whereas I care for the big brooding scary guy. Like in Manhunter, it's Tom Noonan, a really big guy. So Nice defense by the Seahawks so far.
I recently told somebody the Larry Blackman story.
Oh, did you?
Yeah.
That was the most upset I've ever been.
The most empathy I've ever seen you show.
Yeah, I'm not very empathetic. And then I found out that uh, the lead singer, Larry Larry Blackman of Cameo, when I found out he only had $200,000, I was really upset about it. That's honestly the most upset I've been in a while. Wait, which Roomy? They don't make movies like that anymore. Madison is a good starter. He's one of the better ones, I think. Him and Latavius Murray. We got a punt here. This is where a spot where Minnesota can't get complacent. They're not up quite two major scores, and this is kind of the spot where, Russell Wilson's got a whole half basically. I don't know how to cook fava beans, Jackson. That was a good. It's a good line though when he does it. I don't know why he does that little weird affectation after. I don't know what it symbolizes necessarily. I watched it with subtitles though, so I learned a bit more of the plot than I had remembered. I guess there's lots of things lost in the fray when you just hear the audio. It was late at night, so I had to do it. Yeah, Dr. Chilton, Mickey. That's a good way to end the movie. Dr. Chilton is particularly annoying, which I guess that is he did his job then. I read the book 4 years ago and it was really good too. I it's one of those rare instances where I'm going to say, "Oh, the book's always better than the movie," but you can read the book over an evening. That's a good point, Jackson. Yeah, I never thought about it until you just mentioned that.
That's a nice catch.
Nice. How far ahead are you from me, Big Rye?
Sorry. I meant Jackson's
Oh yeah,
catching
yeah.
how he pronounces that word.
Chianti. It's a type of wine. It's usually Italian. I mean, I imagine they probably have some from Napa Valley. I would imagine. I don't know why not. It's usually reasonably dry, but maybe I'll get a bottle this week. Chianti. And I do have some fava beans. That'd be funny. Ironic. I don't know how to cook fava beans though.
I've never been a fan of fine cheeses.
Yeah. I wish I had the palate for wine and scotch, but I really don't. I don't mind a glass of wine here and there, but that's it.
Is it close? I actually haven't looked at our matchup.
Yeah, I watched Red Dragon 2 weeks ago. It's I don't think Ralph Fiennes is good for that role, even though he does a good job. It's a little bit of miscasting, in my opinion, but oh, here we go. Seattle, I guess encroaching now. First and 10, 45. Really like Minnesota to keep this up. It's so hard to, it's too hard to stop Russ for 4 quarters. It just is. This is just that. I feel it's that turning point where like the wheels come off a little bit. Defense gets tired. That's Anthony Harris too. That's one of their best players.
Yeah, untouchable. It's going to be a close matchup. It's pretty much 50-50.
Looks like Falcons, according to Mickey, have some
Coach
news. I want
and GM.
It's still not confirmed from what I see.
It says here Falcons fired GM Thomas Dimitroff and head coach Dan Quinn as of 4
They got rid of
ago.
Tom Dimitroff?
Yeah.
Woo-hoo-hoo. That is big cleaning house. Will Dissly with a touchdown. This game is far from over. Tom Dimitroff will get a job somewhere else. He's very eccentric. I think he has CFL roots, Thomas Dimitroff. But, there's a lot of things he does that I don't like. He's going to get another chance. Quinn is going to have to be a positional coach, I would imagine. Wow, they got the whole thing. The problem is, who are you going to... They already updated Tom Dimitroff's Wikipedia. That's unbelievable. Maybe someone in the Falcons organization did it preemptively. Tom Dimitroff went to school in Canada. Oh, and he was a scout for the Rough Riders, the Saskatchewan Rough Riders. Yeah, so he does have CFL roots. He's from Ohio, though. I don't know how Ohio and Guelph link up, but it's not for me to decide.
Well, he grew up in Canada, and his dad was a football coach for Ottawa Hamilton.
Oh, that makes sense.
And the university.
Well, there you go. I don't know how Scott Pioli could keep his job either. Unless there was some sort of tension between the three of them. Pioli had some good years for, I think, I didn't mind some of his choices in Kansas City, but I think he had success with, was it San Francisco for a while too?
He was with the Patriots.
No, it was just the Chiefs. Yeah, it was the Pats and Chiefs. I can't remember who the guy. Oh, Trent Baalke was the San Francisco guy. That when San Fran was good. Well, obviously they're good now too, but when they were good the last time. Oh, wow, this is interesting. I just don't know who you replace it with. I bet you they go analytics, they go Young, they go Brown style. That would be my guess.
Mickey said that the Lakers won.
That's unfortunate. I don't know. I doubt it, Mickey. Let me take a look, though. I watched Twin Peaks, but I always thought it was filmed in Oregon. Is it filmed in BC? That song of Twin Peaks in the beginning is so eerie. It's such a weird show, but that's David Lynch, is it not? Oh, it was in Washington. Twin Peaks. We would have to be close by. Within 2 hours. Mickey. That's for sure. I always thought it was Oregon.
It's
It's on the
about.
Canadian. Then we for sure within 2 hours has to be.
It says it was filmed in Snoqualmie, which is 2 hours south of the border. It's really close to Seattle. So it'd be for the fat guy and I, it'd be like a 2.5 hour drive to get there. I've actually never been there.
Not the way either of us drives. Didn't Jeannie Buss do Playboy or something?
You're not getting me to Google that.
No, I think she did. Which is really like bizarre. So you're a billionaire doctor's daughter and you own the Lakers, but that's whatever. That was a bad. That looks like grounding to me. Or is it going to be some sort of like roughing the passer? No, I did have good music, Mickey. Absolutely, it's bizarre but cool. I can't tell where he's pointing. Yeah, it is. It is, John. And you have to quarantine anyways. I've been thinking about going for a trip to Alberta, but we'll see. Holy, how did CJ Ham and the right tackle get beat so handily? That's unbelievably bad. I like what Jackson said. I agree.
It's kind of why, for that exact same reason, Jackson, I don't want the NBA to come back to Vancouver, because Vancouver's just never going to be able to attract players to come play here. It's just not going to happen.
There's never going to be an owner in Vancouver that would be willing to do it. There's only really one guy where we live that is community enough to buy a team, and he's too old to even want to do it. His name's Jim Pattison. He owns car dealerships and grocery stores around here. He could buy a franchise tomorrow, but I doubt he would. I watched Mulholland Drive less than a month ago, Mickey, for the second time. It's interesting, if anything. Seahawks have turned it up. This is definitely their half.
AP Indy, we're in Vancouver, Canada.
Yeah. We're weird Canadians. We already know. Don't worry. That is a fumble. That is a fumble.
They blew it down, so I'm not sure if...
They blew it down. Yeah, it's a dream. Yeah, exactly. For sure, Seattle and Vegas.
I think Seattle and Vegas deserve teams before Vancouver. I know David Stern's biggest regret was having the team in Vancouver leave. He was on the record saying that. But I don't want a team to come back, to be honest.
Oh, Mulholland Drive? Yeah, absolutely. It's a dream. Well, I mean, it's still open for interpretation. Let's put it that way. It's not that like, we can't even, Mickey, we can't start discussing David Lynch. It would be years. Because it would seem like Eraserhead and stuff like that. Very open to interpretation. Why is Robert De Niro doing movie? He must really need the money to be doing movies like this. He looks exactly like my dad. My dad doesn't even need to do movies. You're going to love this. When I stepped away to go to the bathroom, I checked my phone. He phoned. And he said, He asked me if I was doing what he says the podcast, and I said yes. And I said, "Why don't you look?" He goes, "I don't watch it."
Yeah, that's why would
And
he?
he goes, "Why do I need to watch it? I can just phone you if I want to talk about anything." I'm
Yeah.
like, "Okay."
Yeah.
And then I'm like, "Don't you know I'm doing it?" He goes, "Yeah, but you're gonna check your phone." And I called. It's important. And then what he wanted to tell me is that he's going to Home Depot tomorrow. That's what he phoned me about.
No, that's terrific.
Thanks, Dad. Yeah, what a champion. I put money in his poker account, so maybe I'm number one son right now. For now,
I hope I hope you're the number one son right now.
you would think, but I think the math's against me, Big Rye.
Is there news that came out at Thanksgiving that I don't know about?
I I don't know. I mean, apparently I could have a son in Boston, so who knows?
The fact that the Sonics had to leave was abysmal, and especially, you know what the worst part about them leaving was, and it's not even like any reason that should make sense, but they had Durant, they had Harden, and they had Russell Westbrook, or at
Yeah,
least they did shortly after they left, and I think that's so unfair. Those three guys in Seattle would have been a ton of fun.
they had
Jack
Sean Kemp and Gary Payton in the '90s.
and I can't believe you left off Detlef Shrimp.
What's that?
I can't believe you left off Detlef Shrimp.
Oh, Detlef? Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, Jack Sikma's perm is
I'm looking
it's
it
next
up right
level.
now. Dude, he had a sweet bowl cut too. Holy.
I think I
I thought
prefer
they
a
whistled
young
this
Jack.
dead.
I prefer a young Jack Sikma with the straight hair.
The straight bowl cut? Yeah.
I'm not too far off from looking like Jack Sigma. Yeah, the
Vikings are going to
Vikings.
F this cover up. Yeah, they are going to
Yeah.
totally do it. I said that like 5 minutes ago. Even though momentum's not really something I believe in. Just, I don't know. I feel like too many things are going against the Vikings.
Well, there's adjustments that are made at halftime for these games. I think that's a clearer way. Instead of saying momentum, there's definitely. I got a feeling Minnesota made limited to maybe no changes because they liked how that first half went, and Seattle's too good of a team not to come out and make changes.
Pete Carroll is not really an X's and O's guy though. That's the interesting thing. A lot of the good coaches aren't, which is bizarre. The supporting staff is though. What a
What a
touchdown!
pass!
There's just no like. He's so demoralizing to go up against. He's the best player in the league. He's the best player in the league.
This is why I've got Seattle in my top 5 because they can come out and play a dud of a game, and 3 plays later they're winning.
Rye looks like Danny Ainge in his dreams, buddy. I have never seen Big Rye pitch a baseball. I don't think he could. I don't think it's making it over home plate. He's gonna look like one of those presidents after.
Detlef was ahead of his time, man, due to 6'10 and wet before it was cool to be 6'10 shooter. That's true, Indy.
Detlef Schrempf was 6'10"? What? Is he in the Hall of Fame, Detlef?
I highly doubt it. Yeah, 6'10".
What? I never thought he was that tall. I thought he was shorter than me. No, no, nope, no.
He's in the Husky Hall of Fame, University of Washington All-Century team. But
Well, I mean, I hope so.
Detlef wasn't. He was a solid NBA player, but not a Hall of Famer.
He just played for a long time, and I know he made the All-Star game some of the time. Dude, 6'10's a monster. Isn't Rip Hamilton tall too? I always felt like he was.
Rip Hamilton's like he's not
Oh, he's
that.
only 6'6".
He's not
I
that
thought he was
tall, but
taller than that.
he's tall for a shooting guard at the time.
Yeah, I thought he was taller.
Yeah, deadlift shrimp averaged 13.9 points per game.
Looks like Cook's back out there.
Cook is back.
And that's nice. I mean, I don't think it adds as much as the fans think it does, but the Vikings really need a scoring drive here. And I mean like an 8-pointer.
Oh.
That was brutal. That was brutal.
I think that was just a spectacular play by KJ Wright. I want to see this one again, but...
Yeah, Tayshaun Prince. That was maybe the guy I'm thinking of. He played on the Pistons too. Oh, this is so upsetting. Are you?
That's a really good play by KJ
No,
Wright.
it's still a bad pass, but this is. No, and he threw it. Oh.
It was a terrible pass, but that's a spectacular play by KJ Wright.
I'm so disappointed. And then I have to hear about from everyone how Kirk Cousins sucks. Oh, jeez.
Oh, that was a bad play. What basketball team did Danny Ainge play for? Pretty sure he played for the Celtics.
Suns and the Celtics, as far as I know.
Or it says what baseball team.
Oh, but yeah. I don't know. I thought he was just
Mickey Hill said
collegiate.
Blue Jays.
Oh, he did play for the Blue Jays? I didn't know that. I thought he just played in college.
The Vikings have just become unraveled.
Oh, he was drafted by the Blue Jays. He did play. He played. Wow, that's crazy. What a pro. Nice ball security by Carson on this run. He knew he was going to rumble in anyways. That was rad. I'm disgusted that I'm not covering, or we're not covering anymore, but
the Seahawks have put up 21 points in the last 6 minutes. Untouchable Jay said that's a wrap. He's going up against you, fat guy, in fantasy, and that Chris Carson touchdown was a killer.
Yeah. I have him in most leagues, so that's not bad. Less than half the third quarter, absolutely. Yeah, I got you, Jay. I think I do.
I was really, really close to jumping on Seattle plus 4.5 on the live line, but the line moved so fast for Seattle that I left it alone. And that was back after their first score. Now Seattle's minus 750 to win and minus 9.5 on the live line.
Danny Ainge coached the Suns. Huh. He also threw a ball off Mario Ellie's face.
Jackson says I leave for 5 minutes and I've lost my cover. want to see Dylan come back to chat.
Danny Ainge is Mormon. Usually rude, callous people aren't Mormon, but there's got to be a few, right? This is so brutal. I knew it was going to happen. I mean, I don't know what was going to happen, but I bet Post Malone is BO. I would agree with that statement.
I want to know what... Oh, my goodness.
That is a huge hit. I can't believe you held on to the ball. Who's 99 for the Seahawks?
More?
What? DeMontre Moore? Oh, man. And that's clean as a whistle, too, that hit. He hit him on the shoulder.
If there was fans at this game, think about how crazy the fans would be right now.
The energy would be huge.
The Fat Guy and I have been lucky enough to attend Seahawks games, and the crowd is very, very good.
Yeah, it's been good every game we've gone to. We went together once, right?
I think so. I've been a few times, but I think we've been together once.
Once, yeah. Oh,
that was a good night. The night before.
What did I do?
Well, first of all, Saturday night you drank a lot, and
yeah,
then
I did.
Me, you, and one of another person in the fantasy league, one of our friends,
shared
a hotel room. You decided it was a good idea to order the Great Gatsby at 3 a.m.
on full volume.
Yeah, he fell asleep. He ordered like 6 or 7 pizzas, fell asleep. We ate as much pizza as we could, but obviously we're not going to finish 6 or 7 pizzas. So Fat Guy got up, finished off the pizzas, decided to order Great Gatsby on pay-per-view, watch it at full volume after everyone had fallen asleep, and somehow drank like 5 or 6 of those like 2-liter waters.
Yeah. It was the 1.5 liters, and I drank 6 of them. So I drank 9 liters of water, and I had the worst heartburn I've ever had in my life. I'm surprised I didn't. I had to pee every 2 minutes when I got up. I drank 9 liters of water in like 3 hours. God, was I hungover. That was a brutal day. Oh, and I had knee surgery like a month, less than a month. No, 2 weeks beforehand. That was awesome.
Yeah, it was good. Mickey, yeah. I would totally believe if they pump in some of the crowd noise. John Stacey said sealed the deal.
Yeah.
Broncos crowds are crazy too. Their home field advantage isn't just the altitude. I could definitely see that. Another huge hit from the Seahawks.
That was a headshot by their rules. I think this is a fine hit, but
there was a flag thrown, so. And then I remember the front desk girl was very, 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 very shocked to hear how much water you drank, which I always found one of the funnier moments, and it shouldn't have been funny at all.
Well, the thing is, I don't. If there's not liquor in it, I only drink water. I have that water dispenser here, and I go through it pretty good. God, I love that stuff. I would love to go to an SEC football game. I think this is, even though not that I traveled a lot to begin with, I think I'm starting to become more open to it. Something like that would be worth it for me. Vikings getting the first down here, and that was Madison rather than Cook. I wonder what the split is going to be, or if Cook is still laboring that injury.
I think they'll still play Cook as much as he can, but if Madison gives them more, that's who's going to be on.
AP, I'm not sure all of that is 100%, but I'm open to that being true because, God, winning in Seattle is just so difficult. Arizona's like the only team that's ever been able to do it consistently.
I know at least they've talked about before if one of the teams is having problems with headsets, they don't let either team use them. But I'm sure all those things have happened at some juncture of time. A NASCAR race would be interesting. I literally would not know what to expect from a NASCAR event, to be honest.
It'd be nice though because you'd go in with a clean slate. I don't know anything about NASCAR, so it'd be fun to drink and stuff there. Crush a dozen beers, that type of thing. Be real American, get a good nice tan. Man, the Vikings are driving here, real nice.
Somehow Cousins put that ball on point, even though it looked like his arm got hit.
Is Kyle Field is it this? It's a stadium, right? Yeah, because it is it bigger than the one the Longhorns play at?
I like I like what Indy said at the end there.
He's right. He is right. That is an interesting point. Because what you're gonna kill the golden goose, right? Oh, CJ Ham's not making that catch. You can't get field goals here, guys. Though in Minnesota, you can't bring a water pistol to a gunfight. Former Canadians, yeah, I guess they are. Well, LSU, I mean, that's kind of what they have, though. That's all they have is their football team, really. I want a Vikings touchdown pretty bad here. I was praising the Vikings defense in the first few minutes after 3-and-out in the second half, and look what's happened. And he got him. Okay, now just run. You got Thielen. Run it 3 times. It's not that hard. Oh. That ball was on the money. You run it in. Oh, yeah. No flag, no flag, no flag, no flag, no. Oh, jeez. There we go. Decline. Nice. Nice. All right, let's go for 2, Minnesota. That was such a weird. That was a weird play. Fantastic. Okay, that was pathetic, but on to the next one. Still covering now. Alma Mater's run a lot deeper than anything I've noticed. My sister went to an American school, a Mountain West American school, and she has a job there with the university, and she is quite into it. Let's put it that way. Baton Rouge smells like corn dogs. Never been to Louisiana. Man, Wagner looks like thick. Not necessarily muscular, but he looks thick. This is a weird game. Oliver Twist game. The lighting looks differently on this next gen stats angle that they have here.
It's hard to believe that Russell Wilson's entering his 9th season.
Seems so much longer than that. Justin Jefferson 10 to 1 next score. I don't like it. I don't think that's enough, but that's fun. That's a fun bet. Oh, DK Metcalf all day, Mickey. All day. As big as I am, Habib would take me down and beat me up in seconds. At least Metcalf, I'm bigger than. I'm not stronger than, but I'm bigger than. And if I punch either of them, it's going to be trouble. But I could probably land on DK Metcalf. Habib, there's 0%. I'd have to hope that he gets a soft tissue injury on the way to taking me down, and then has to grasp his knee in pain so I can smother them with my tummy. There's no other way. Wow, this bootleg got blown up, and he still gets it off, man.
Did you see the highlight of the knockout yesterday?
Yeah, I did. It's pretty good. Did you have money on that?
No, I did not. Not that fight.
No.
Mickey said I can't outrun either of them.
No. Metcalf is in some shape, though, that guy. Well, yeah, of course, minis plus money. An interesting screen here. Key blocks are that was a big hit by 41. Is that Anthony Harris?
Travis Homer with some uninspiring running.
This is a great thing to touch on here. I never understand. So on the screenplay right there, how come a team like the Jets don't copy that exactly and put it in there in 2 weeks in their playbook? It's just way harder to implement than it sounds. I'd be copying everyone. Well, that's what most good teams do. I don't think they're able to execute properly too. Because first of all is that right tackle had to seal his block for sure. And then I think the other assignment from the running back, oh my goodness. Wow. And then the running back would have to I guess maybe Chip as well. Quarterback has to. There's I don't know. The execution I think is too difficult for some teams. I just could see the Jets just royally effing a play like that up.
It comes down
That,
when we always talk about the Patriots, and it 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 comes down to also the experience that some of these players have. And what's interesting about the NFL in general is that players usually stay in the league for like 1, maybe 2 years. So there's actually there's not a lot of experienced players in the league. So it's harder to coach. Whereas like the Patriots, one of the things that they really like is they'll take guys that are off their rookie deals and pay them like a little bit higher than than what a rookie would get paid, but not quite as high as like some of the big name free agents. So they get a lot of guys that are like to use like a guy like Chris Hogan or a guy like Rex Burkhead. Like I'm trying to think of like skill position players where like there's nobody watched the Bills and went, oh, I really like Rex Burkhead, and no one watched
Cincinnati, believe Hogan for the Bills, but go on.
Yeah, like nobody watches these guys play and think like, oh, this guy's really good, but it allows the Patriots to do things coaching wise that a lot of other teams don't do. And that's changed stuff on the fly. Like you're talking about, couldn't they copy that and implement it in 2 weeks? And teams do that, but like the Patriots can do that in a quarter. Like we're looking at some of these teams and they're doing like really basic like dropbacks, and the offensive linemen don't know who to block. Like you're talking about very, very basic stuff that players can't get. Like there's what's so interesting about the NFL is like the athletes are so good that you have such a small like there's only so many
margin of error.
There's only so many people in the world that could play left tackle. There's maybe like 2,000 people built that way. So if there's only 2,000 people built that way, there's only so many guys that you can actually suit up and put at left tackle. And let's put it this way. They're not all quick learners. They're not all geniuses. Like you're talking about like the biggest and strongest guys in the world.
2001. If I start working, I moved down to Florida and I start working out with Dylan Todd Field,
yeah.
I'll be starting at left tackle for at least the Jets. Okay?
Yeah, and it's just hard to find people that play certain positions and can get coached up and can learn and can do multiple things. Like there's a lot to it. It's hard to do.
Well, touching on what you said is I think a lot of those retread guys, they pick guys that are like professionals, you know what I mean? Yeah. Here's a good example of why I like DeAndre Baker's the guy who got caught robbing that game or whatever. But the thing that my friend pointed out to me is he said he could only make instant noodles. Like he just doesn't like being a professional is not just playing football. Like it's routine and everything else. It's like being a professional in anything, right? So I think there's more to it than just what's on the field. And Big Rye, I think, touched on it. Because I think procedurally, are there really guys better than Rex Burkhead? No. He's going to do all those things right.
And awareness-wise, like...
Yes, awareness-wise, too. Football IQ, intelligence. You know, I'm not saying, is Rex Burkhead a good athlete? No, but he is hardworking. He's durable. He's going to do what's asked. That's a lot. You know, Chris Hogan, another guy. Julian Edelman. Julian Edelman played corner for a year for the Pats. You know what I mean? Obviously it's a coachable guy, right?
And I'll go back to
the example we're using because it's the most. It's
extreme.
It's the most transferable. Yeah.
And it's worked. Like it's a winning formula what they've done, and like the opposite of that is like the Browns. Like the Browns have had all these like top picks, and it's like every year it's like, oh, they got Johnny Manziel, they're gonna be good now. They got Baker Mayfield.
The best example of the Browns is the cornerback they drafted. Remember, he was the only corner that was bad that
Was
year.
it Justin Gilbert?
Justin Gilbert, that's the one. Thank you. He best athlete in the draft by an absolute mile. Just a complete moron of a human being, and that's it. That's all it takes. They couldn't get him on the right page. He didn't. Joe Thomas said he didn't act professional when he came, and that's what happens because being a great athlete is not good enough. Rams is a good example now, Mickey, as well. I would say because even guys like Cooper Kupp, is Cooper Kupp a good athlete by NFL standards? No, there's no way. Cooper Kupp does everything right, though. I can tell you that much. I like what Indy said there about yeah, guys that do stuff, guys that take it seriously, right? Because I don't know if I'm an agent here, I want guys that understand that the real money is in the second contract, right? You can make family changing money, dynasty changing money if you get a good second contract in the NFL, and that doesn't happen to anyone out of college. That's not a quarterback, at least.
Well, like Indy, you just said that the Pats take more shots on those guys than other teams do. But the thing is that they've got 53 spots on their roster, and they maybe have two or three projects. They have like the Randy Moss or this year it's Cam Newton. Cam Newton's that guy. And they got Cam Newton at what, $1 million? Like two if he hits all his incentives?
No, it's a bit more after, but yeah, he's barely going to be a cap hit. And it was worth the risk too. And I think too is those guys are on a very short leash. I can tell you if Cam Newton didn't really try and didn't really put an effort in, he wouldn't be the starter on the team this year. But clearly he has.
And you
Because
can
they've
really
cut
tell
guys for less.
You can really tell who they value by who they pay. And I know they just paid Gilmore a lot of money. To me, Stephon Gilmore is the most valuable player on that team if you had to ask Belichick.
Yeah, perhaps. I mean, if he's paying him the most, I guess that's probably the way Belichick would look at it. They're what was I gonna say? But Gilmore is another guy though Gilmore is not the best athlete in the NFL. For a cornerback, I don't think he's that good of an athlete, to be honest, in comparison to cornerback's the most athletic position. And he was another guy who's a first round pick by the Bills, had a middling to good career, and it was just elevated by for the Patriots.
Actually, Joe Thuney is the highest paid Patriot by far at $14 million. Edelman second, Shaq Mason's third, Jonathan Jones is fourth. I'm not sure where. I'm not sure about the numbers I'm looking at right now. That was a nice heads-up play by Justin Jefferson on that crosser because he could have landed on his feet and kept going, but he saw he was going to take a hit and he just ate dirt.
It's not a bad plan here. I would really like the Minnesota Vikings to take the lead here. Good job. Good job. I like a tough run like that. I'm enjoying this game, even though we talked about a lot of other stuff. That's fine. Yeah, Zaps. It was a low betting volume. I thought it was going to be a big one this morning, but I don't know.
Yeah,
Early lines can
Zaps.
be deceiving.
I didn't make one bet today. It's this I find that this happens maybe once a season. I don't think I've ever seen it where it's pretty much been 50-50 though for every game. Yeah, this is
Cover was so good in the first half, and it's up in the air now. I'll be right back momentarily, gentlemen.
yeah. Eventually, Jackson, there's going to be some meat on the bone. Yeah, they've already released some of the lines next week. Next Monday's game between Arizona and Dallas would be such an exciting game if Dak was playing. It's unfortunate that he's not going to be playing that game. I'm assuming he's not going to be playing. I know he's going through ankle surgery tonight. That doesn't sound too promising. Carolina's getting respect this week. They're 3-point favorites at home to Chicago. To me, there's value on the Jags as 3-point underdogs against Detroit. Oh, we get Washington versus the New York Giants. That's a interesting game, and I'm surprised the Giants are getting 4 points. Especially if Alex Smith is playing. Cleveland versus Pittsburgh is an interesting line. I'm surprised the Steelers are getting 4.5. Tank Bowl between Washington and New York. If the Titans really do have this many positive tests, I'm surprised that they're only 3-point underdogs against Buffalo on Tuesday. Nice job by the center, Bradbury, to get to the second level on that last play. Yeah, Seattle scored 21 points in 6 minutes to start the third quarter. It's official now that Dan Quinn is out. Yeah, it's another poor performance. What are they, 0-5 to start the season? That's unreal. That team has too much talent to be 0-5. Yeah, I was looking at it earlier. I think they all have negative point differential as well, which makes sense because they've only won one game each, or whatever it is. Is one of them 2-3? I guess the Cowboys won today, so they're 2-3. The news just broke on the NFL Network. Yeah, they also let go of Dimitrov, I believe, the GM. The Vikings have run 71 plays with still 8 minutes left in this game. On 3rd and 1, we get a QB sneak. It looks like a first down. So it's going to be 1st and goal for Minnesota. This is really nice for them. Down 2 points. A touchdown is important here. Did they announce who's in at coach for the Falcons?
Thanks, Carissa. On 3rd down and 3.
And an Adam Thielen touchdown on 2nd and goal.
Yes.
That's going to put the Vikings up 4.
All right.
Where would I rank Cousins out of the 32 starting quarterbacks? Well, let's take a look.
16th for me.
I'm not as high as Fat Guy is, but let me just take a look. Do a real quick and dirty. I'd rather have Josh Allen.
Oh, really?
Yeah. Newton's a tough one. I can't tell if I'd rather have him or Cam Newton.
I'd take Cam Newton in this system all day.
I'd rather have Cousins than Fitzpatrick or Darnold or Flacco. I'd rather have Lamar Jackson, so that's 2. Honestly, like I'm not trying to. If I was trying to win games, I'd take Cousins over Burrow, but I'd rather have Burrow long term. I think I'd rather have Cousins than Mayfield. So
Yes.
far only 3. Actually, this is an interesting one. Him or Ben Roethlisberger.
Oh, Roethlisberger all day. Even though I kind of like Burrow over him, to be honest.
So far 4. I'd rather have Deshaun Watson. That's 5. I'd rather have Tannehill. That's 6. Mahomes is 7. Prescott's 8. Alex Smith one's tough right now. From what I've seen so far, I think I'd rather have Cousins at the moment. Daniel Jones or Cousins is a tough one, but I think I'd take Cousins. Where are we at here? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. I'll take Stafford over him. I'll take Rodgers over him.
Easy.
That's 10. I think I'd rather have Cousins than Foles.
Yeah.
Matt Ryan's 11. Bridgewater's 12. Breeze is 13. Brady's 14. Kyler Murray's 15. Goff is 16. Garoppolo's 17. Russell Wilson's 18. So I think I'd have him ranked around 19 out of the 32. So I have him ahead of Fitzpatrick. I have him ahead of Newton. I have him ahead of Darnold or Flacco. I've got him ahead of Baker Mayfield. I got him ahead of Phillip Rivers, Gardner Minshew, whoever's playing in Denver. I've got him ahead of Carr. I've got him ahead of Justin Herbert. I've got him ahead of Daniel Jones. I've got him ahead of Kyle Allen or Alex Smith or Dwayne Haskins. I got him ahead of Foles. And that's it. Mickey would say 13th.
I'm wondering about Garoppolo, to be honest.
I'm not. I think for Garoppolo, it's health.
That's still part of it, isn't it? Though. This is nice. The Vikings are winning. Can we get a defensive stand here, and then one more score, and that should nail it. God, is football about time of possession? You know.
Yeah. Well, the Browns dominated time of possession today against the Colts.
It's usually the other way around. Colts are a good team. I didn't catch enough of that game. Goff, I can handle because of the system he's in. From a talent perspective, I don't know.
Yeah, like if you took Cousins and put him on the Rams, it might be a lot better. But it's like you can make that case for a lot of guys. There's a lot of guys that would be a top 12 quarterback if they just got to play on the Patriots. Like, that's just how it is. Like,
is this a hold?
But there's definitely like in that range from like 12 to 20 that you could make a case for almost any guy to be ahead or behind. Like Cousins, Garoppolo, Goff. I'll throw Bridgewater in there. Stafford. Like even Foles I'll throw in there. Alex Smith, Daniel Jones. Rivers. Burrow. Like, you can make a case for any of those guys.
Burrow's going to be good, I think.
Jackson said he'd put him ahead of Carr, Locke, Minshew, Rivers, Mayfield, Burrow, Fitz, Flacco, Darnold, Jones, Smith, and Foles. So that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. So he's got him pretty much the same spot that I do.
Minshew's near the bottom, unfortunately, but it's I respect Minshew. He's a 7th-round pick, trying to get it done on a tough team. So he's at least made a really good effort of it.
I think Minshew also gets thrown at the end just because of, like, the fact I said where he was drafted and the situation he's in. But I don't know. He's been respectable, but that's the thing, is that he's still near the bottom. But like if you had to go with how people have played, like Burrow's right at,
yes.
Oh my goodness. You'd have to say, like, even a guy like Joe Burrow's at the bottom. But Burrow has a lot more. The ceiling seems a lot higher for Burrow than it does for a guy like Minshew or even Cousins.
Burrow could be ahead of Cousins by the end of the year.
Yeah.
I mean, Kyler Murray was, I thought, pretty bad in the first couple games.
Yeah.
But I mean, it's hard to deny that he's not a really good player.
It looked like Wilson was kind of half throwing that away. Carson just gave up on the play once he got pushed out of bounds. Wilson was able to reestablish himself before he made the pick. I don't know what the rule is on this, though, to be honest, because
I don't think he's allowed.
He forced himself out. He came back, he reestablished, and then he made the catch. Russ pulled a Kirk. I think that's a good way of putting it. Their two interceptions were very, very similar. I actually think that one was worse than the Cousins interception, to be honest, because...
Wow. I didn't think that you could do that. All right. I guess my knowledge has been expanded, and this is a great run. This is a great run. Take the time off the clock here, gentlemen. Minnesota putting respect on their name.
If they can pull this off, this is a huge win for Minnesota to come into Seattle and win.
Oh, it is for the defender, Mickey. That makes sense. Yeah. Jackson, right on, man. Thanks for always
Jackson,
taking the time late at night to have a chat with us. Have a good one.
So it's I think if the offensive player steps out on their own, they can't be the first to touch the ball when they come back on the field. But I think if an offensive player is forced out by a defender, they can come back and reestablish themselves and make the catch. I'm not sure if the fat guy was listening to me there.
Sorry, cat puke.
Oh, it's all good. The people give a lot of praise to Dalvin Cook, but Madison has stepped in and done an excellent job in the second half.
Well, that's the interesting thing about all this stuff. Is Madison is what getting paid $500,000, and Dalvin Cook is now getting $12 million. Is Dalvin Cook 24 times better than Madison? No. Like, it's just hard for me to justify when I can get Alexander Madison at $500,600,000 and Dalvin Cook's at $12 million. I mean, it just doesn't make sense to me.
Fear said, "See, fat guy went with the Vikings this week and they are winning. I bet Dylan is upset."
Well, Dylan says I hate the Vikings because I didn't take him 2 weeks ago. It just doesn't. It's whatever. Maybe he's trolling. He's such a high level troll now. It doesn't even make sense.
And then Heyo said that interception is going to be on a lot of Know Your Rules highlight videos.
It probably, yeah. I didn't think as a defender you could do that. Boone tripped for a touchdown run. Holy. Flag anyway on the play. Oh, it's holding anyways. Where'd O'Neal come from?
I think he's been in Minnesota his whole career. I can find out for you, though.
That was a hold. Don't throw the ball. I kind of agree, Mickey.
Yeah, Brian O'Neill was a second-round pick in 2018 for the Vikings.
Oh, right. Ezra Cleveland was the second-round pick this year. I wonder how much Ezra is Ezra Cleveland playing?
They've got him listed as a backup left guard at the moment.
Yeah.
Rashad Hill's backup left tackle.
Stay in, yes. Ball security. I like how Mike Boone is closing the game out for the Vikes.
Well, it's. Would you rather, wouldn't you want to have a fresh back in? 2 minutes left in the game. This Seattle defense, they, at least last year, they played the most base defense out of any team. These guys have been out there for 80 snaps now. And I don't know how many snaps Boone's played, but it can't be more than a handful.
You got a good point there. Just I do think that's where the talent drop off is. I wouldn't have minded Madison, but Madison has played the most snaps maybe, and I guess Cook isn't able to go. I do like the ball security. He obviously listened.
Yeah, as long as it's not CJ Abdullah out there for this.
Amir Abdullah,
thanks. John, Minnesota's up 26-21. So they
also have the ball.
They're up 5. It's 3rd and 4. Seattle just used their second timeout.
Oh, Minnesota called this one.
As Mickey said, don't throw the ball. Don't throw the ball.
That's right.
I was watching on Thursday night, the Bears decided to throw the ball. I believe it was on second down. And their win probability went down at least 10%. Because I was watching the live line between plays. And because of that incompletion, their win probability went from minus 300 to minus 180 or something like that, just off of the one decision to throw the ball. Oh, John's in South Korea. Welcome to stream.
Welcome.
We're all hoping for a Minnesota win tonight.
Yeah, that'd be good for everyone, just about. I don't know if I like play action.
Well,
I'd play action
shotgun.
if you take a sack. Play action if you take a sack, I'm okay with.
They go with a reverse to Thielen. And Thielen is just short. They keep the clock running. I find this...
I won't be on the stream, but Big Rye might. He'll give you a definitive answer pretty soon here.
Fear. I'm thinking about streaming the Tuesday game. I'll probably be doing it solo. Interesting decisions here.
You win the game if you get a yard. I don't know. That's the way I look at it. The Raiders did that today, and I really liked it. The Bears threw the ball, and it almost gave me a brain aneurysm on Thursday when they did that.
I'm surprised that the Seahawks didn't take their timeout. Terry asked, does Sealand have a roll of 50-cent PCS in his pants?
Pieces in his pants. I don't know. Maybe he's just glad to see you.
Fear says go for it.
Yeah, I agree. You get a yard, you win the game.
The other thing, too, is that even if you don't get it, you have them pinned deep.
Yeah.
And they still need a touchdown to win this game. So a touchdown does win it for them. Whereas the field goal, a touchdown would lead to a tie.
Yeah, but Big Rye, you get a first down, the game's over.
Yeah, I'm all for going for it. What would I be doing if we were playing Madden?
You would run the ball. That would be it. You'd probably do let me guess. Probably like a strong side. Like you'd probably do a zone. You'd run a zone run. Like an outside zone run. That would be you in Madden. And then you would kneel. You'd make sure your guy didn't get in the end zone. Even if he got there, you'd dive, and then you'd kneel 3 times.
John Stacy's got an interesting trick play here. He said he always thought if they snapped it through the quarterback's legs to the running back, and the quarterback fakes like it's a sneak, the running back can easily jump the pile.
That's the greatest idea I've ever heard. I'm not even joking. In fact, he could use the quarterback almost as a springboard. I know it's illegal, but I mean like incidentally. You know what I mean? Like if he dove over him, he could get leverage from the quarterback. And the quarterback could almost push him. It's 4th and inches.
At the very least, you want to come out here and do a hard count to see if you can get them to jump offside. Because worst case is you push. Oh, they do hut the ball. And
I have no idea.
I think he's short. Yeah, they've already signaled it.
How did he not get that?
It seems like he slipped. I want to see this again.
He must have slipped. It looks like it's raining very strongly out there. He slipped. He had to have. I gotta see a different angle on this. Oh, he tripped. Oh, game of inches.
As a Seahawks fan, you definitely wanted them to run that ball.
No, you want them to pass that ball. You're going to have a better chance of stopping a pass. Oh, this is so Seahawks. Get every, micro edge go your way. They still got to go a long way. Can we not
they still
blow
have
this
their timeout.
Oh! Oh! That could have ended the game. Wow. Just a yard away from a safety, not even.
Well, we're going to get 2.5 minutes of very entertaining football. That's for sure. Untouchable, calling for the turnover.
I smell a turnover. He's trying to use his magic here. Pretty tough in this spot. Yes. I thought that was going to be a big completion.
I like what Indy said. If you told the guys that it's going to come down to 4th and inches and we're going for it, they'll all be on board.
Yeah.
David Moore's been wide open on these last 2 plays, and Russell's just missed him. He threw that away.
I was hoping if I was going to lose my mind if they threw a flag. Hey, we got a 4th and 10 now, guys, to win this game for Minnesota. Was he outside the box, Mickey? I don't know. Let me see here.
Well, the right tackle's pretty much right at the middle of the field.
Yeah, exactly. Middle hash.
So he gets outside. Plus, there was a receiver in the area. He just stopped running.
Don't blow this. He just barely out of it, yeah.
Oh, my goodness.
And Dantzler just wrecks that. Oh, my goodness. He had it. That was a floater.
With how far off the corner was, it seemed like...
Oh, my... If this happens, just how lucky. Like, the run good of Seattle is unbelievable, man. That was 4th and 10. That wasn't 3rd. That was 4th and 10. Oh. Think of all of those 2 plays. The 4th and 10 play. The 4th and inches play the Vikings didn't get. Oh. Please, defense. I want this run good to end. You know what? They might score and Vikings will get the ball back. This is crazy.
Well, they've taken 57 seconds off the clock. They haven't used a timeout.
Minnesota's got 2. Minnesota's got 2.
21 yards to go. Blitz from the Vikings. Wilson throws it away.
He signaled to that there was a player in the area. Fuck, Pete Carroll looks like he got in a dust up. His nose is all crooked. Surprised he's not sporting some Irish sunglasses.
Maybe he had some books fall off of a bookshelf.
Look at him. Yeah, maybe some books fell off the shelf, and then somehow the fridge door fell off. Who knows?
Shotgun for Wilson.
Just let him score then, honestly.
I'm expecting some sort of like pick play by Seattle.
A rub play. I feel like 83 is going to get it. Oh. Sean M. here to bring the bad news. This is the biggest Vikings fan in the world here, commenting. I mean, we're covering, Sean, but I don't like it. I don't know how the Vikings fall apart twice in a game. Mind you, there's still a field goal if they give up a touchdown. Oh, come on. Let's go, Vikings. I hate how lucky Seattle is. It drives me nuts. Just so much run good for one team.
Second and goal,
and
28 seconds left.
Here.
Seattle still has one timeout.
Oh, it's dropped!
Big hit by 21 to knock that ball loose. That looked like an easy touchdown.
Sean, I don't want it to be true, though. That's the thing. And there's still a chance. So you're saying there's a chance. I can't believe you dropped that. Did 21 hit it? Yes, he did.
Yeah.
Was that Dantzler?
No, it was Hughes.
Gladney? Oh, Mike Hughes? Okay.
He punched on both sides, and he managed to get it with his left fist.
Get real, Sean. He's so negative. He can barely handle it. So negative. This team played great today.
3rd and goal for the Seahawks. They throw the
no
fade.
Flag, no flag, no flag. Yes. No flag. Yikes, man. So another 4th down. Can they do it? God, is this? How does Vikings know? How do how do the league know? Somehow the Sunday night game is the best game every week. Don't even. You think I don't think that? Oh, I want this streak ended. Let's do it here. It's like a
I got a
60-40
feeling
Vikings.
yeah, we're getting a timeout here. I'm going to minimize chat for a minute while we watch the end of this. This is where the pass rush for the Vikings becomes super, super important on this play. If you let Wilson have too much time, he's going to get it done. They've got Lockett and Metcalf at the bottom of the screen.
No way, man. How does this happen? This is like unbelievable. He caught it. That's a touchdown. That's unbelievable, man. I've never seen a team this lucky.
That was a tremendous catch by Metcalf. Also, the throw from Wilson was on point. So you're saying there's a chance. The Vikings still have 2 timeouts in 15 seconds, and a field goal wins it. Damn, that's Wilson for you. This is like a running joke. DKW, DK best player in the league, right? Metcalf has been one of the best receivers this year. Like you say, like that's a crazy play, but like he dropped like the easy play 2 downs ago, so. Seattle kicks it deep for a touchback. John
I'm like,
Stacy says, I smell a turnover.
yeah. Yo, yeah. It's not the worst coach. It's just bad luck. I wouldn't have run it to that side, but I still would have ran it or snuck it. I would have sneaking it is not unreasonable. You know, I mean, you could criticize the play call. No, they beat the Saints last year too.
That might be a fumble.
That's game. That is so disappointing.
Now they want it to be an incompletion.
I don't know.
That's a
I don't
fumble.
know. Yep. That is just so disappointing. At least at least the Vikings cover.
And in a week where there's no bets to be made, we go 500. Still one more game tomorrow, and well, 2 games technically. What do we got? We got Buffalo and Chargers +8. Sean said they've won 1 playoff game with this coach, and it was the miracle play. Untouchable says almost. Fierce says, well, fumble. Cash the Vikings. I won this week, so I got some money. Can't be mad. That's good, Fear. Congrats. And I think AP Indy said it the best. This is like a running joke with the Seahawks. Are they... There's 0 seconds on the clock. Are they lining up for another play?
I don't know. I'm like speechless. That took the wind right out of my sails. I hate stuff like that. Jeez. It's just so annoying, man. Well, you know what? There is a silver lining. The Seahawks get the win. Minnesota gets the cover. We're going to be able to utilize this going forward. And so, apparently the math came up. It's a 94% win percentage with the Vikings making the choice to go for it. And, of course, the 6% comes in for Seattle. But that's sports, isn't it? Oh, I can't. I hate stuff like that so much.
Well, the thing that doesn't come into consideration with making that decision is what are the chances of converting a 4th and inches?
No, someone told me, or the information I got, that all of this is considered failure rate and then conversion rate by the Seahawks.
Yeah. No, I saw like the stats that they put up on the screen. Like if they converted, it was a win, and if they didn't, it was -15. But it was, I guess it's not the full.
Oh, it's not the full scope.
It could have been 4th and 24, and if they converted, it was 6% still. Like the actual down and distance didn't. Well, the down mattered. The distance didn't matter.
I don't think kicking the field goal is better. I really don't. I think going for it is 100% the right decision. It's just heartbreaking. Oh, that sucks.
4th and inches was the right. 4th, yeah, that put us even, Mickey. Untouchable says he hates Russell. Dylan says exciting endings. Ivono says, I assume kicking the field goal would have been better. Kicking the field goal definitely would not have been better.
There's no way. Holy, that. I just like, dude, I'm actually, this one is annoying. I didn't even have any implications. I just didn't want running good from Seattle. That's just annoying. Yeah, I like the sneak better, Mickey, honestly. But that's it. That's sports. Yeah, I ran out of gas there. Anger. Yikes, man.
I'm just watching the NBA Finals highlights.
I agree, Mickey. I agree. I have like nothing invested in the result of that, and it's hard to it's tough. Well, two choices: stop the fourth down, get a TD, or stop or yeah. I mean, it's just the conversion rate on that is really high on that fourth down, and then not only that, uh, even if they don't convert that fourth down, they have to give up a touchdown, which is unlikely as well. So it's just I don't know. It's tough. I don't know what the exact math on it is. We're probably going to argue, but I imagine it's more plus EV. Because a field, don't forget, there's a failure rate on the field goal too, right? I mean, probably if the field goal was guaranteed, that might be okay. But I mean, really good. Are they really good? Yeah. All right, we got to get to work, Big Rye. I'm just crushed. I'm gonna have to find energy. Jeez, Louise.
I think it definitely, because Wilson's more likely to come down and score a touchdown either way. So
I would say he's the most likely of anybody.
it's, I remember one of the more famous ones in recent history was, I think it was the Patriots went for it on a 4th and 2 when they were playing against Manning.
Yes, they did. No, I didn't. It had no implications for me, Zitvono. None.
More so as a fan of underdogs winning games.
Yes, exactly.
That's
Yeah.
what it comes down to.
To be honest, I would have cared less if I had money invested, if that makes any sense. Because I've already made that decision. Like I always look at it like I've made what I determined to be a plus EV decision. So regardless of what happens, it's just an iteration. For me, I was just emotionally invested in the entertainment of that game. So yeah, it's so weird. Money and emotion I've kind of just locked out for the most part. I mean, there's times where that peaks in. Big Rise really good for that. Yeah, but then because it's Russell Wilson, it's almost more. I'd almost rather I don't like. I'd want to do whatever I could to not give him a chance, right? Where the other way is is for sure giving him a chance. Imagine missing that field goal too. Yeah, I agree.
It's the
Indy's
thing.
last statement.
The thing about going for it on that 4th and inches play to win the game is that you have full control. Like full control over what happens there. Like either you get that 4th and whatever, or you don't. Like that's up to you. Everything else, like kicking a field goal and then leaving it in Russell Wilson's hands, like there's always going to be a percentage chance. Like if it was 4th and inches to win games, a lot of teams are going to take that.
Or worse, blocked field goal.
That's another good point by Mickey, that like you have to think about the percentages of all this stuff. I'm trying to find like fourth down percentages. I've got fourth down conversion percentage for all teams. And the median's like 66% in that area. But this isn't fair to use because it's not all fourth and inches. But here it says the overall conversion rate for a certain time frame, I think this was 2015-2016 season, was 66%. So they had, if you want to put it that way, 66% to win the game on one play without anything else happening. And then even if they don't get it, they still had a, whatever it was, 80% chance.
John Madden says it best. If you didn't get stopped on third down, you wouldn't have to think about going for it on fourth down. Yeah, that's true.
Yeah. And didn't they run I'm thinking back now, didn't they run Adam Thielen on a reverse on third down?
Yeah, they did.
Yeah,
he did a good job, but yeah.
To me, that was a terrible, that was worse than them not getting it. Even though it had a better result, that reverse is not meant to pick up that many yards.
No.
And there's a huge chance that you could lose a lot of yards.
Yeah, I completely agree.
And kickoff touchdowns definitely also a possibility.
God, there's some.
You got to remember, the Vikings had him at 4th and 10, and the corner completely misplayed that play. The Seahawks' chance of winning at that point are very, very low. But
John Stacey's name has put the crying game stuck in my head. The song. This is this is annoying. I don't know if there's any Boy George fans out there. There's so many Roland Walton names. This is so good.
Billy 369 is tied for the lead this week again.
Again? Good for Billy.
And he's up to he's tied for 5th for wins overall. So big push from Billy 369.
He was pleasant when we emailed him, so. Wow, Josh Jacobs is laying it out there. He put the champ as his name.
Why not? He is.
Yeah, I liked it.
AP Brett said I took Colts and lost, winning $3,000 was 5 out of 6 on my ticket. That's why we never recommend those.
Rarely.
Parlays.
Yes, almost never.
Mickey was laughing at the crying game. AP said, curious how you guys got into football being from Canada. I know they play good ball up there. Just wondering. I know it's hockey country too. I'll let you take that one.
Well, I mean, it's more the gambling aspect, right? Big Ryan and I come from, I guess, a pub culture. So, I mean, it was inevitable. People, I hate losing, and it's not even losing. I hate participating with something I haven't investigated. You know what I mean? And gambling is one of those things I used to lose all the time. So then I just started doing homework, and then it went on from there. It just snowballed, really. So I mean, and we grew to love it, I guess. Big Rye was a sports fan, and we were part of the same group of friends, and he kind of he found what I was saying. He found my take on sports interesting, and then that's it just kind of snowballed from there, I guess. Yeah, it's not the best answer I can give, but yeah, that's pretty much it. Zaps has a good strategy. I don't know who to pick this week. I can't give it to John Stacy again, even though his
is
pretty.
He Finkel as Einhorn as Walton is Toddfield?
Yeah.
Oh.
You know what? If you took the word "as" out, that would be better because that would be more true to the movie. Finkel is Einhorn. Einhorn is Finkel. Einhorn is a man. I love that movie. That's my childhood. That's our childhood. Fat Guy's Unibrow. That's a good one. It's got to be a Roland Walton. That one's. There's two. All right, Mickey, you win, buddy. I'm sorry, I'm spoiling it. Hey, Big Riot.
Yep.
Some of the honorable mentions didn't make it through on the last video because I got a bunch here. I think it only takes 5.
I'll fix it.
Can you make sure it takes all of them? I like all of these names. They're fun.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, Mickey, you win. I got to be honest, though. The Finkel as Einhorn, as Walton as Toddfield is pretty good. It was between that and Roland Walton as my daddy, which is pretty good.
All right, guys, we're going to end the stream and get started on the video. So we will catch you guys. There's a possibility we won't be live tomorrow for the Monday night game. And there's also a possibility that I might be live for the Tuesday game. So we're still got to see how that goes. But otherwise, you guys have a good night. And hopefully you guys enjoy the picks video that comes out early tomorrow morning. Have a good night, Mickey.
Cheers, gentlemen.
Night, guys.
Cheers. And with that being said...
Now I'm on pins and needles. Screw it. If you get it through, if you get it through. If not, tell us next stream. Catch you guys later.